Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Backwoods Horror Show. What was that? Cody, you got your finger on a button?
No, I'm
I don't.
sending. I'm trying to send a link of the
Ah.
show to a friend, and I didn't mute it. So when it getting that little echo, that little delay, because the live is a little behind.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's good to have you back, Grandpa.
Yeah, I wasn't doing too well. So
I'm glad you're doing better.
sucks to be old.
Yeah, we're all getting that way.
Yeah. Oh, that last episode, Rick Dalton scared him off whenever he come stomping out the door. Margarita, you fucking hippies.
Grandpa's like, I can't be on this one. My beard looks a little hippie-ish, so.
How y'all been?
Pretty good. Can't complain too much. Running to death, of course, like one does when they have 5 children.
Yeah. Same here. Trav's in the same boat as I am, I'm sure. We're getting into ball.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh, yeah.
right now, our life's all about baseball and softball practices.
Yeah. And then helping my mama take care of her place. She's got a ton of weed eating to do. So between that
with all this rain, holy shit.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. In our yard, we've got 8 acres we keep mowed. So yeah, it keeps us busy.
But don't forget to draw up plans to build my avocado. I'm just saying.
Yeah. We can
You didn't see that, Cody? The guy took a Colorado and an avalanche, cut him in half, put them together, said it's a Chevy avocado. And then he can make me one.
Yeah. I can make one. It wouldn't be too hard, actually.
It looked cool. He asked me if he thinks I'm nuts, but I think it looked cool.
We'll make it happen.
Think that little thing could hold a 454?
Oh, it can hold anything you want. I've got a welder and redneck ingenuity. I mean, we can brace stuff. It may be as heavy as a tank when we're done, but by golly, we can do it. And actually, I just got a new welder for my anniversary present this year. So, wife got me a nice 240 MIG. Well, actually, it's a MIG stick welder or a TIG welder. You can do anything with this thing. So pretty nice. Now all I need to do is get my shop built out here, and I can start Hillbilly Customs.
Yeah, we're going to be welding up some canoes if it's got a TIG.
Yeah, it's got a TIG. Well, I'll burn the first one in half, I'm sure, but until I get used to it. That's the one thing I haven't learned how to do yet is TIG, but I know the premises. I've just never done it yet.
We'll start on the old death canoe because it's already broken half anyway.
So does anybody use 454s and 350s anymore? It seems like everybody's using LS, Coyotes, Hemis. It's like, do anybody use old school engines anymore?
Some of us
there is a market
for it. Yeah.
But it's not it keeps dwindling. That's going away. I mean, there's always going to be a niche market for that, but the speed guys.
Well,
I love classic muscle. If you want to go fast, it's kind of hard to beat. You can get the same amount of horsepower, more horsepower out of a 4-cylinder engine could an old big block from the 60s. So
it makes it because you can get a bare bone stock 5.3 LS out of the junkyard. Well, now they're about $1,500. They used to be $400 and $500. You can take a bone stock one and run boost on it and get 600-700 horses out of it, and they actually hold it well. I mean nothing. You don't have to do nothing to just throw it in and run it.
Yeah,
and you can run the shit out of them.
I mean, the things they do today are amazing. When I bought that N-Line last month from Hyundai,
I saw that.
It's only got 296 horsepower and it's got 311 feet of torque. But dude, if you turn off traction control and put it in Sport Plus and you floor it, you will lay rubber like it's a hot rod.
They'll surprise the shit out of you.
Hey, Cody, I've been trying to get him and Mr. Aaron Hawkins to race my ass, and they've got launch control. All I have is clutch control. So, granted, I've got 400 more cubic inches than they do, but
and a lot more weight.
Yeah, I'm still rocking an old
well,
built 455 Pontiac.
We might have to get Sheep and Baby T to sit in the back seat to give you a little more traction.
Oh, I get traction. I do good. It's getting enough traction. I've done bent one of my shocks. Yeah, she's. I've got to stiffen up my rear suspension. I don't know why to eat my fenders too.
I don't know why it's got launch control. It's convoluted too. You got to put it in Sport Plus, hold the traction control down to turn off this collision warning. Then you put your foot on the brake. You have to put the gas all the way to the floor, and the RPMs go. You have to use the cruise control to mess with your RPMs, to either go to 3,000 or 2,500 or 2,000. Then you just let off the brake, and the car goes. It's convoluted. I don't know why. If you're going to race somebody, they're not going to wait on you to do all that. They're going to and take off.
Well, that's for they put that in there for when the protesters are blocking the road and you've only got a 20-foot launch in between them, so you can give that car all it's got so you can make it through. So,
okay, that makes sense. But I'm surprised, for a little 4-cylinder 2.5 liter turbo, it's still, I'm not gonna beat a Hemi, but I've seen people on YouTube taking V6 the V6 Challenger Chargers and whooping them, but I didn't buy it to race. I just bought it to have speed. I like to go fast. I just don't I don't want to race anybody. And I have common sense when it comes to racing. I know about car classes. Like diesel pickups nowadays are faster than fuck, but they got to get up. It takes them a little bit. So if you I'm gonna, you can beat them on takeoff every day, but that's not, I like to see people run together. Like if I'm going to race somebody, I want to race a Camry or a Jetta, something that's in that family of sedan.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go. I wouldn't even bully, somebody in a small Ford Fiesta or something. You know what I mean? But I like to hit the highway and go fast. So I got a lead foot.
I hear you. I do too. And I kept track of my Trans Am's gas mileage on this last tank. I'm not sure, but I might be getting 6 miles to the gallon. And it's high octane too. It does not like 89. I need 93 or more. And it really likes 93 and octane, but it's a built 455. I mean, you can hear the cam interloping and everything, but it's a hell of a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it's. I would give anything to have something like that, but the cost to buy one in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the means to rebuild one or do that. I have to buy it already ready for me, and I don't feel like dropping over $100,000 for because Firebirds aren't Firebirds, Trans Ams, all that. Anything Pontiac from the old days is worth a lot since
Yeah, they have come up huge. Which I stole this one. I got a really good buy on it, and it was done except
those old Pontiacs. Yeah, pretty impressive. Trav remembers my old Grand Prix that I rolled.
Yeah, and still does not remember how he done it. I was like, "What the hell happened, dude?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "One minute I was driving down the gravel road, the next road it shook a little bit, and I was on my top."
I flipped the car at about 20 miles an hour.
Yeah,
did you go into a gully or something and come back up?
Hit loose gravel right before a bridge, and there was a little embankment. I was fucking with my radio, and I hit the loose gravel, and I looked up, and I'm sliding toward the embankment, and just so happened there was a big oak tree growing up on the side of the embankment, and the bridge, it was one of those, it was a small bridge where the concrete edge just stuck up about a foot, and that's what stopped me. I slid about halfway off the edge of the road, and that stopped me, and as soon as I stopped, my car went beep, and lodged between the bank and this tree. And I'm sitting there, and I'm seeing shit from under my seats and shit I haven't seen in years.
Hey, I've been looking for that.
Hey, they all say nowadays, these phones are causing people to have accidents. They don't remember the old days when you would get into an accident and changing a cassette or an 8-track.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Radio.
The damn cassette player starts eating your favorite cassette, motherfucker, and you're trying to get it out before it ruins it. Yeah. And then running down the road trying to stick a pencil or a pocket knife in it to wind it back up. Yeah, you didn't pull over to the side of the road for that shit.
Hell, even after CDs come along, Trav, you remember that? Trav had he carried like a freaking Bible of CDs.
Got it.
It was like 1,500 CDs or some bullshit like that. and trying to look.
2,600 to be exact.
Yeah, well, he'd be looking through this shit when we're going down the road after dark and back roading, and may or may not have been having some driving fluid. And he's looking through it. He's like, Jesus Christ,
smoking a cigar.
It's how I'd be driving down the highway, going somewhere, and you're tired of listening to what you're listening to, and no one's in the car with you, and you look in the seat and you see that big old book, and you're like debating, fuck it. And you grab the book, sit it in your lap, you're kneeing it, you're like,
yep. Oh, and in mine, I was driving a manual transmission too while I was doing all this. That's back in the good old days.
Multitask.
But then again, my old truck knew all the roads, so she kept herself in between the ditches for me. I just had to give her a little throttle and kind of bump the steering wheel every now and then. Before
you betrayed her and kicked her to the curb.
Yeah, I did. I sold her. But I have a guarantee that if he sells her, I'll get her back. She's too new for me. I'm going back old school. So she was a 97. Now the newest thing I got's a 90.
So that's the thing about these car like I bought. It's nice. It is lovely. It's nice. I feel safe in it. It's all those sensors. I love it. But on the other hand, when the warranty's up, you want to get rid of it because there are so many sensors on that thing, and it's not cheap to fix. So it's like the cars are safer, but I just feel they're, once your warranty's up, you should get rid of your car.
Well, I work
like
for a dealer now.
Yeah, like everything else, appliances, everything's disposable.
Yeah, well, I work for a dealer now, and probably 60 to 65% of the issues coming in with the newer cars are electronically related. And yeah, we mess with a lot of, and the nice thing with the older stuff, if I put a new door handle in, I don't have to program it to the car. I mean, it's crazy what you have to do a relearn or program when you replace something on these new vehicles.
I didn't know that. I saw a video where a guy was replacing his RAV4 starter, and it's not just unhooking it and hooking the new one in. Yep. He had to hook the computer up to it because it has the auto start. When you stop at a red light, it shuts off, and it's only allowed to be – it's programmed. It's only allowed to do that so many cycles in a lifetime. Like I think he said it was like after 100,000 times it starts, it's not supposed to do it anymore. So you have to program the computer to tell it it's the new starter, so it starts over.
And if it's a Toyota, it's very possible you might start that son of a bitch 100,000 times.
Yeah,
I don't like that auto start. My wife's Soul has it
either,
and she turns it off. But if you just drive down the street and hop out, when you get back in, it's back on again. And the only time it keeps itself off is in the winter. If you're using too many accessories like the heat, it won't turn off. So in the winter, it's not a problem, but in the summer, when I had my Jetta, it did that. Every time I'd come to a red light, it would turn off. I just turned the steering wheel and it would kick back on.
My old lady has a RAV4, and when she first got that thing, she bought it new. And when she first got that thing, which I knew about that the eco mode on the Toyotas, but still. When the first time I rode with her and we pulled up to a red light and it just died, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. Have you guys messed with any of the hybrids out there yet?
No, I have more faith in a hybrid, to be honest, than an electric car, but I haven't messed with any because I have been hearing stories from people because it may not have as many batteries, but it still has expensive batteries nonetheless.
Well, now they've designed the newer ones too, where you just can't let the battery die and just run off the gas motor. It has to have that battery in there too. But no, they'd overbooked at the shop, so I had to change oil on one. And I get in this, and I hit the button, and it doesn't start. And I'm like, I didn't realize it was a hybrid. And I'm like, what the fuck? This thing ain't starting. I hit the button again. I got my foot on the brake. I'm like, the hell? And I get out. And I'm getting ready to pop the hood, and I look on the hybrid. I'm like, oh, okay. I bet it is started. So I hit the button again, get in it. Everything lights up, and I put it in reverse. I'm like, okay. I back out. And when I put it in drive, it freaked me out. The car sings to you. Like when you get going, it goes, oh, I hit the brake, and I'm like, what the hell is that?
So no hollow notes is what you're saying?
No Inner Sandman, no hollow notes, nothing like that. But it's just like and the faster you go, the louder it gets. And I'm like, what the hell?
That would be great. As expensive as the batteries are for those hybrids and electric cars, that'd be great. Is if every one of them, whenever the battery became faulty in them, if it just would stop and the only thing it would do was play Hall & Oates' "Rich Girl." She's a rich girl.
Well, like I tell people, if you're buying an electric car to save money, cool. If you're buying it to save the planet, you're being misled. Well, it takes so much energy to create the batteries, to do this, to generate the electricity. You're not really saving the planet. The only reason you should buy an electric car is if you want to just save money.
But here's the thing, though. If you're going to keep it, you're not really going to save money because, like, we've got one that another car lot bought off of a auction. So this car comes in, so it's having alternator issues, they think. I'm like, okay. So I pull it in and I pop the hood and I look and I'm like, that's not an alternator. That's another damn engine on top of this thing. This thing is, I kid you not, it's bigger than a gallon freaking bucket. It's big. And I'm like, what the hell? Then I see that big power cable. I'm like, this is a freaking hybrid. And then I get to walk around and it has no badging on it. And I look in the back seat and there's it's a generator alternator is what it is. And I look in the back seat and there's one laying in the floorboard, looks like they got from the scrapyard. And I'm like, aha, I know what's wrong with this thing. The generator went out on it. So they put another one because if your battery goes bad, it will wear out that generator. And they put another one from the scrapyard and it didn't fix it. And they priced how much the battery was going to be. So the generator by itself is like $2,200 just the cost. That's our cost, not what we would charge them. On top of the battery, another $4,000 to $5,000 for that. And it's like a 2018, 17 Malibu. And it's a really slick car. I know what somebody done. They put it on the auction. They put it on there to sell it quick, priced it low. Another car lot bought it, and now they're going to stick them in the ass.
Well, at least it's a car lot that got stuck in the ass and not a regular consumer.
Yeah, well, it's a small car lot, so.
Yeah, I don't come down on the people who own them. I only come down on the people who own them and then preach about it. Like I'm supposed to. That I get upset about. Like, dude, I like my gas powered car. I'm sorry.
I like to go get my Trans Am and park beside them and just let it idle for 10 minutes and grin at them whenever they get to preaching.
Well, I do that crossing guard thing, and you can't hear them. I'll be like, I know there's not going to be any kids coming because the ones that usually do have already come by, and I'll be like staring at the birds or something, and all you'll hear is of the wind, and I'll be like, "What's that?" So they're totally quiet. Even the hybrids are quiet, but yeah. So I don't know how more people aren't getting hit in crosswalks because they can't hear them.
I think loud pipes save lives.
At least Stellantis is putting in, the rumble in the speaker system in the new, the new Dodge Chargers because, everybody wants that fake rumble.
Yeah.
Tranny cars. Cars used to have trannies. Now we have tranny cars.
Oh, I never thought about it that way.
They have the rumble, yeah.
You pop the hood and you're like, what the hell?
It's pretending to be a real car.
And I don't know who it's gonna kid. It sounds fake. It doesn't even sound real. It sounds fake. It's like, I don't know. The only car that's cool, I think, is because Tesla has
my car. You pop the hood. My car has no cock. Where is the cock on this car?
I do like the Tesla Plaids because it has that sound effect where if you go really fast, it goes. It does some cool stuff. I'm still not going to buy one, but I think it's cool.
The Teslas don't need the motor sounds. When the Tesla Plaids, whenever Elon decided to put the on the monitor screen on the dash, decide when you put it in sport mode to do the space balls, go to Plaid. Yeah. That's all you need. You have redeemed your manhood with that.
I think they need the Mario Kart sounds, the little Mario Kart sounds. Then every time you pass somebody, Luigi's like, let's go. Once you go around them.
But somebody needs to get with Elon because Elon would be up for that.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody who buys a new Tesla, they get their own basket full of bananas.
I do get a kick out of the racing scene though, because a lot of people get upset because Teslas can do it pretty good job at the drag strip, and people get upset. But it's like, why are you guys getting upset? They're fast, and they will beat everybody on the. So quit racing them. Just quit racing them. You know what I mean? It's like it'd be like racing a bicycle and a motorcycle. Just stop. It's not that important. Teslas are fast. We need to get over it.
They're stupid fast. Is the bad part.
They're stupid fast, but the problem is after their 2 or 3 passes and they got to hook up and charge, I can keep dumping a few gallons of petrol in mine and keep making passes. So it's got its ups and it's got its downs. So
and still retain your man card.
I don't know if this is true, but I have heard once it hits 100, it starts having issues. Not like mechanical issues. It just really starts to get sluggish. Like once it hits 100, it's hit its peak.
Oh yeah, it starts zapping the juice real quick. The faster they go, the quicker their juice dies. Yeah.
Now I would almost consider buying one if Elon had it where whenever you hit 88 miles an hour, it'd start playing the Back to the Future theme
and leave flames and leave flames.
Yes, it's got to leave flames too. I don't know. Somebody asked me if I'd ever buy an electric car. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Fire anyway, so he's already there.
Yeah. I told him, I said, no, I'm not interested in an electric car. And there's a couple people standing around there. Adam, I said, I'm not ready to leave my hair up in a man bun yet. So no, I'm not ready for an electric car just yet.
And if you live in an apartment complex, you have to spend your days at a charging station because no landlord are going to let you have extension cords running from the buildings to all the cars. You know what I mean?
Look at California. They're wanting to go complete, what is it, by 2035, all electric cars. But you know what they're telling the people that buy,
even the semi trucks, they want to be completely electric by then.
And you know what they're telling all the people now that have bought electric cars that want to charge their cars overnight? They're telling them to buy gas powered generators to charge their electric cars because the electrical grid can't handle it. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? These people, the people that are elected and put into office. And I'm like, oh. That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. Which it's really, I mean, it's a false sense anyway.
Power, which is proven to be mostly safe, and can produce pretty much unlimited power that could power all their bullshit, and it's clean energy when handled right. But no,
I'm all for coal. Keep rolling coal. It comes from the earth. It puts it back in the atmosphere when you burn it, and it does not pollute the atmosphere. It really doesn't when it comes down to it. Think about it. It comes from the earth.
Alcohol comes from potatoes and corn and stuff, and we put it in our bodies, and when we piss it out, it goes back into the earth. But that doesn't necessarily make it good for our bodies.
Well, you don't want to be breathing the coal, but when it gets back in the atmosphere, don't get me wrong, I'm still
an alcohol advocate.
I just get it.
I can't get me that burning fossil fuels is bad for the environment.
I don't know what's happened to people. It's like that judge in New York. You heard about that guy? He had his own workshop in his home, and he was a gunsmith, and he was making guns. It's a hobby. A hobby. And they raided his house and arrested him. And when they were in court during the opening statement, his lawyer was starting to talk about the Second Amendment. And the judge was like, hold it. This in my courtroom, the Second Amendment doesn't exist. This is New York. I was like, my jaw hit the floor. I'm like, a judge really said that. And I heard it secondhand and I looked it up. She really said that. He's in jail.
Shouldn't that judge be arrested and put in jail?
Yes,
saying that you take an oath. Exactly.
Treason. Straight up treason.
Yeah. They wouldn't have done that 20, 30 years ago. 30 years ago, that judge would have been stripped of his freaking whatever the hell statutes and probably would have done some jail time. That is crazy.
It's like I was telling Murray yesterday or the day before. I was over there and I was telling him about, him and a couple of his buddies. And I was like, that's the only amendment nobody gives a shit about, because I can go into Illinois and someone could say, hey, that dude's got a bunch of crack in his suitcase, but they still can't do anything without a warrant. But yeah, if I have my gun on me and I drive over the lines, I can go to jail because they don't have carry conceal without permits. They don't honor ours. Da 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 da. And it's like, so my Second Amendment rights don't cross state lines, and it shouldn't be that way. Yep. If I can go anywhere.
There's an app you can download that gives you detailed, and it follows by the GPS where you're at, and it'll tell you detailed in each state you cross over into what the gun laws are as far as concealed
carry. I consider Illinois a third world country. I don't even like venturing over to them.
Yeah, Illinois to my south and Minnesota to my west, I can't take my gun in. I can lock it in a box as I'm traveling through, but I can't have it on me. And then I know down near you guys, I saw yesterday that the Louisiana governor said there's a shortage of police officers, so he made permitless carry legal in Louisiana.
That is good. That is good.
26 states to do it. So we need more to do that.
Oh yeah.
If you're not a felon and don't have a criminal past, why not?
Exactly. I may not be political, but when it comes to the Constitution and our first, second, third, I stand for that. And anybody that wants to violate that, they should all be kicked in the shorts. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Hey, and Trav can tell you, I'd never aligned to any one political party, but one thing I do agree with a lot of the stuff the Libertarian Party is for. Just, hey, as long as I'm not hurting anybody and I'm being a productive member of society and living my life.
Yep.
Exactly.
For myself, and leave me alone. The government needs to stay out of my life.
I don't bother nobody. I mind my own business. I mean, I do judge the lady across the street because she's weird, but that's just between me and my wife. You know what I mean? I don't judge her publicly, but
exactly. Until now.
She's not watching. Nobody. Well, Murray's watching, but nobody that she really knows is no one that she knows could squeal on me to her. So, but no,
and we all judge Murray because his dog's creepy and stalks Stallone and Schwarzenegger.
Man, that's a sweet little dog, though. She loves the heck out of me.
Have you checked out Grandpa and Murray's show, Neighbors Talking Shit?
No, I haven't. I haven't had a chance to yet.
You've got who is this guy that does all your intros, the video intros for their show?
Our buddy Steve, he does all the intros.
Just amazing stuff. It's hilarious. This last one he did, he had a little CGI Stallone and a little CGI Schwarzenegger out camping, and they're getting stalked before the show. He does all the intros for the show, and he just does amazing work with us. It's fucking hilarious.
I'll have to check them out. I've been planning on to. I just haven't had a chance to yet.
At least check out the intros too.
Oh no, I'll watch the whole thing.
No, the shows are great. The shows are great. It's and I've already told Grandpa this. It's the next best thing. It's like a spiritual sequel to Living in the Past, that show that we used to do on the other network. And they do a lot of top 5 and top 10 lists and stuff, and focus on a bunch of 60s, 70s, and 80s movies, and it's just a blast. If anybody who hasn't checked it out, check out Neighbors Talking Shit on Rumble.
Yep.
That's under Grandpa the Nerd channel.
Yeah,
right,
you can watch it under my. You can watch it on my page, or you can watch it on the Neighbors Talking Shit page. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm subscribed to that. I didn't know they had one for the show. Yeah, I'll definitely.
I didn't either. Yeah, I got to subscribe to that too.
Yeah,
awesome. Super fun show. Yeah. We got to get Murray. We got to get Murray on the show sometime. I'd love to have him.
Yeah, we're doing one Thursday.
Funny fucker.
We have one Thursday. We're doing some of our 5 of our favorite album covers. So that should be a treat because there's some wackadoo album covers out there. Yeah. So, yeah. So, So what did we watch this? What did we watch for this episode?
Yeah, well, since we've been on the subject of cars for most of it, it's just fitting that we're going to be covering Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof.
Quentin Tarantino.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if this was made with all EVs? How shitty this movie would have been. The first hard crash, kapow, boom, it explodes. That's it. That's the end of the movie. Yeah.
They would all be cocooned in airbags.
Sadly, this movie was considered a box office failure.
And Quentin Tarantino even considers it his worst film. Not that he doesn't like the movie, but he fully admits this.
He says it's his weakest film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a budget of, $30 million, and it had a box office of 31.1.
Now, how did they figure that out? Because I remember I saw this 3 times at the theater. We've talked about it on previous episodes because me and you went the opening night, and then I went back another 2 times to watch the double feature. Yeah, and this movie, the Grindhouse double feature, which Death Proof is by far my favorite of the 2. Not that I didn't like Planet Terror, but Death Proof. And that was the first film they showed, right? Or was it Planet Terror?
No, Planet Terror, because I wanted to watch Death Proof more than anything, and I was afraid I was going to start getting sleepy. Well, that, and mainly because we were sneaking alcohol in too. So,
but this movie hit at both these movies hit at the perfect time. Me and Trav were in our mid-20s. By this point, we'd been through the majority of the great 80s horror films, and we were starting to dig deeper into the 60s and 70s, primarily 70s horror, with all the satanic horror and stuff, and Grindhouse films, Faster Pussycat Kill and whatnot. And so this movie hit at the perfect time. It was a blast.
The theaters hated this though.
Yeah, the way it was put together. Yeah, I got lucky. And I have the real copy where it's got them both. It's the entire with all the trailers and everything. Yeah,
to get the full effect, you really had to see both of them in the theater.
Yeah, I can buy. Yeah, I could buy either one on Blu-ray, but they're separate. This is the only way I want to watch it. So when I watch it, I watch them both at the same time because it was the way it was meant to be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that whole experience. I mean, they did their best. Tarantino and Rodriguez did their best, absolute best, to get as close to the old Grindhouse.
Oh yeah.
Double feature feel as they could. I really think they pulled it off. And
what
pulling in all. I mean, look at all the trailers. Almost every one of them has been made into a film now.
Yeah, Machete's got what, 4 films?
Just two.
I thought it was 3. Okay. Yeah, I mean, everything that spawned from these 2 films
was with the shotgun.
Yep. My only gripe is I didn't live anywhere that had a drive-in. That would have been perfect for a drive-in. That would have
been. We didn't either. Whenever this aired, it was winter.
Well, no, the 21 drive-in, but it was during the winter, and they weren't open there. So
because it would have been,
we had to go to theater.
Because most drive-ins you get to see 2 movies for the price of one. That would have been a perfect summer tour of the drive-ins. But I don't know if it did. I don't know if like California, where it was warmer, had it. But where I was at, there were, Illinois, there was no way to see it. But I would have loved to have seen it in a drive-in.
Oh, yeah, it'd been badass in the drive-in.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of sucked, though, at our little movie theater here, they would not play this till, like, the last film. Like, it started at, 8 o'clock code?
Yeah, and it wasn't profitable because it was, 2 films for the price of one, basically.
Yeah. So so it started. So we didn't get out of the theater till like almost 2 o'clock in the morning. Whenever we went and watched these, I mean, we were there for like over 5 hours, and it had the 20-minute, 15 or 20-minute intermission in between films and
something like that. I don't even remember.
Yeah. It was awesome, and the cast of this film: Kurt Russell, of course, is Stuntman Mike, Zoe Bell, Rosario Dawson, Rose McGowan, Sidney Poitier, Tracy Thomas, Vanessa I can't pronounce her name, Ferlito, and of course Tarantino as the badassest bar owner you've ever seen. But
hey, don't forget about Eli Roth.
Oh yeah, Eli was in there too as a schmuck, just trying to get laid.
Yep.
And yeah, and well, Tarantino come up with this film's idea. After seeing how stuntmen would quote unquote death proof their vehicles so they could survive crashes.
Tarantino is, I mean, he just proves this throughout his career. He's always had a fascination with the stuntman industry, stuntman and stunt woman industry, for those politically correct.
Oh, but, yeah.
The stunt industry. Well, but yeah, and I like that because I think they are like the stunt crews are the unsung heroes of Hollywood.
Well, and you talk about how he likes stuntmen. Okay, I never was a Nova fan, but the 70 Nova in this film is badass. They had 4 Novas. They completely destroyed 2 of them, but there was one of them that Kurt Russell's in for most of the film. You know, he does in the Nova. That car they did not destroy, and Tarantino sold that to Kurt Russell's stuntman for $500, and it just had a few dings and scratches. The stuntman gave it to his 16-year-old son, and his 16-year-old son still has it today.
That was his. Thank God! I thought you were going to say he totaled it.
No, that was his everyday ride for at least 2 or 3 years. Can you imagine pulling into high school in that bad motherfucker? And then he's actually works for a film company somewhere, and he was talking to him like, "Oh, bullshit, you do not own that car," you know, all that. So he drove it to work and pulls into the parking lot in it. And it still has the cage. It still has the plexiglass in it, and it's even got the little metal farmer or the tractor seat over in there in the passenger side. Yeah, he kept it just like he got it from the movie. And that actually makes me want to get an Nova and build one like that.
If he ever wants to sell it, he's probably going to be able to sell it for a fortune because it is a movie car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was the only one that was left that wasn't completely destroyed. Yeah,
but you got to give Tarantino credit because he sold it for $500. He could have, you know, he doesn't need any money. He's Tarantino, but he could have been a douchebag and been like, "Yeah, I'll sell it to you for about 30 grand." Yeah, so that was cool of him to sell it so cheap.
Well, like we talked about in the last episode, that's what inspired him to write Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was the relationship between Kurt Russell and his stuntman.
Yeah.
In that movie, in Death Proof, how that Kurt Russell brought him with him to every film he did, and they were best friends, and so I can see, Tarantino taking a liking to him and selling him the card sheet.
Yeah. I'm a huge. I was upset I didn't feel good because I own all his movies. I mean, I think they're all great. You know, I wish he was able to do that Star Trek he wanted to do. That would have been awesome. But the only one that didn't get me too much was I wasn't the biggest fan of Jackie Brown. It was good. I liked it, but it's at the bottom of my list when it comes to his movie.
I'm on the same boat with you on that one, Grandpa. It's not my style of film is the main thing.
I haven't watched it since I first came out, and just the star power in that, and him reviving Robert Forsyth's career with that, and he was great in that. I mean,
yeah,
like I said, I haven't watched it since I was a teenager, since it first came out. But
seen it 3 times. And I really need to revisit it because I was pretty young all 3 times when I saw it. But,
I'm almost afraid to because I enjoyed it so much. It's one of those I enjoyed so much as a teenager. I don't want to go back and.
It wasn't my cup of tea.
Tarnish that.
That's why I kind of think I should revisit it. But his
Bridget Fonda naked was not your cup of tea.
God. No, that was not now, but back then, Now, wow, that should almost be against the law. But in Tarantino's character development in all of his films, but in this one, you got the girls heading to the bar. You got, was it Jungle Julia? What was the other one's name? Pussycat, Butterfly. Yeah, and just their interactions, the dialogue just reels you in right from the beginning. It's like you're actually with a group of girls that are heading out.
That's a big complaint of this movie with a lot of people. They don't like they think the dialogue between the women is weak. And
well,
in the
even
first
like Jungle
half,
Julia,
no.
She's a radio personality, and she's supposed to be this big badass black bitch. That's how she's supposed to be, but she's actually a softie. Like you see her talking to that guy, and they're texting each other sweet nothings and this and that.
Yeah, there's
And then as
great
soon as her
character
friends come over,
development.
it's great. I loved it.
You get and the Tarantino's classic bait and switch. I mean, I remember the first time we watched this, and I was sure that Butterfly, Vanessa Ferlito, was going to be the main character. It was either her or Jungle Julia, but I was pretty sure it was going to be her. And then, well, by the way, everybody, spoilers. If you watch the show before, you know that we don't do spoiler free reviews. So
no, we can't. We're not that talented.
No, maybe Grandpa, but not us.
We jump around so much, you're gonna get spoiled.
Yeah, it's unavoidable. But Vanessa Ferlito, and can we talk about her for a minute, guys? This chick, I thought she has just that look, just that appeal to her. I was sure after this she was going to be an Hollywood A-lister. And then I think she ended up, last I knew, she'd done like a supporting role on one of the NCISs or
she was NCIS Law and Order or something.
Yeah. She was on CSI New York, I think, for the first 3 seasons, I think, and then they wrote her out. So, but yeah, she was on CSI New York.
Okay.
Yeah, and that sucks because she was so good in this. And I'm not just talking about the lap dance scene.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty great itself.
Well, the build up to the lap dance scene where he goes down, Jungle Julie's got that quote somebody's got to give her, and then she's got to give him a lap dance. And Stuntman Mike sits down right in front and gives her that long quote, and then Jungle Julie's like, "Oh, sorry, cowboy, but she's already gave out that ride. She's already done it. She's only got to do it one time." And he's like, "Bullshit." He said, "I could see, you were kind of hurt because nobody come up to you tonight."
Kurt Russell.
Yes.
How does he
delivering his lines perfectly.
Every role.
Yes.
He was
in the lap dance scene. Go ahead, Grandpa.
He's even good and he's got the smallest role, but he's still good in those last couple of Fast and Furious films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he elevates them. I mean, he.
Oh yeah.
Whatever he does, he gives 110% every time.
Oh, yeah. And even his Santa Claus movies.
Fucking 60 years now, because he started out as a Disney kid.
Yep.
The computer who wore tennis shoes.
The computer who wore tennis shoes.
Holy shit! Yeah, I done forgot about that.
The Fox and the Hound. The Fox and the Hound.
Yep. I think he did 3 or 4 live action Disney movies back in the day before he, I think it was 3 or 4. I'm not sure, but the computer that wore tennis shoes is the one that sticks out in my head. I think he did a sports one, but I don't remember what the name of it was.
I don't remember it. No, I do.
I'm gonna look.
I just vaguely can't remember it. But well, we're talking about the lap dance scene. Did you notice what's hanging on the wall? And this movie is full of little hidden gems of not just the grindhouse genre. Yeah. If you notice what's hanging on the wall behind him during the lap dance scene, it's his shirt, the muscle shirt from Big Trouble in Little China, hanging on the back wall.
Holy shit!
Yes.
If you watch the documentary, there's a documentary. I have to look that up too about Quentin Tarantino. If you watch that, all his movies are linked.
Yes, they are.
The brother of this guy is in this movie. The cigarettes are in all the movies. I forgot the name of the cigarette brand, but they're in all the movies. But every movie, they're linked somehow together.
Speaking of which, in this, there's a fan theory, which with Tarantino's films, there's always a ton of fan theories. But in the scene where he's at the bar talking to Rose McGowan before he kills her, they're asking him about how do you get into stunt work, and how he got into stunt work, and he says his brother got him in the stunt work. And well, who's your brother? Stuntman Bob.
Yeah.
And the fan theory on that, you remember Kurt Russell's character of what's his name, Randy Miller, in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He was the stunt coordinator. And the fan theory on that is that that Randy Miller is Stuntman Mike and Stuntman Bob's father, and that's how they got into stunt work.
I like it. That's kind of cool. And talking about him delivering his lines when you're getting to where he kills Rose, where they leave the bar and he pulls out of the the driveway to the bar.
Looks at the camera and gives that that smile.
It's like,
it's like,
which way you heading? I forgot what he called her. Says, which way you heading? And she goes, oh, I'm going that way. And he's like, oh
well, that's
what
a
shame. He's like, I was really hoping you were going this way and not that way. Well,
really
I'm afraid you're going to have to start. I'm afraid you're going to have to start getting scared right now. What the fuck are you talking about? He takes off, just fishtailing, throwing around the cab, which we didn't even cover the passenger side seat of the Nova. It's just that little tractor seat, plexiglass, and a roll cage. And I mean, it's a professional stunt car. You know, that's made to have a camera sitting in it. And yeah, he's going and she starts cussing him out. And I'm like, that's not real smart, girl. You can't really do nothing. You've got Lexan glass in between you and him. And she's cussing it. And all of a sudden, he just slams on the brakes and her freaking teeth and nose just eats that damn roll bar. Then she falls back, spitting up teeth. And just, oh, damn, could you imagine?
Which I hate that for Rose McGowan. Then I hated it for after later on in life when I found out what a douchebag she was in real life. I was like, I understand your point of view now, Kurt. Speaking of which, what do you guys think his motivation was? I mean, aside from being a psychopath, because I see this reoccurring theme after watching this right back to back with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I see this reoccurring theme of how, you know, the old Hollywood versus new Hollywood. You know, he's an old stunt man, just like Cliff Booth and in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and they're kind of becoming obsolete. You know, he's getting older. The whole Hollywood scene is changing. The old action stars of the 50s are becoming obsolete, and the whole hippie movement moving in, and new style of film coming out, and I like how Tarantino throws that in. You know, it's always the old versus the new.
Yeah. Are you still talking about this movie, or you back on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again, Code?
I'm never off of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That switch is always on.
I always thought for Death Proof, because Quentin, all his movies, his bad guys, they're always usually complicated. There's always something going on.
Oh yeah. I
thought this one was the first time. I always felt he wrote Kurt Russell's character as just a straight up psychopath with just there's no complications in him. I just want to kill people. That's what I always thought it was. Just a straight up killer, you know, who just did it, you know, in the style of Saul, you know, something different.
Yeah.
Instead of just killing him or clubbing him, he built the car so he could do, you know. So I just think he just wrote it. I don't think there was motivation. I just think he was a sick fucker. You know what I mean?
I kind of think that he, you know, if you think about it, being a stunt man, you got to be an adrenaline junkie. That's got to be a hell of a rush. Well, stuntman Mike's older, showing his gray hair, and not getting used as much, so he's not getting to do his stunts as much. So he moves to a next level, which those guys got to kind of have a little niche in the brain that's not either fully developed or not there, or something's a little broken in it to be able to do it, you know? Like, you may not survive this, like, fuck it, let's do it. And I kind of got the niche that's after, he's done stunts for all these years and now he's not getting to do the big production stunts, this is the next level to where he can get his adrenaline rush and keep going. And once he done it one time, then it keeps progressing and he's got to do it more.
And on top of that, like you're saying, he probably, stuntman, he's the dangerous guy. Probably when he was younger, he was getting all the chicks, I'm a stuntman in Hollywood. And now he's an older guy. Like you said, he's not getting as much work.
Yeah.
And
now he's older and the scar is not cool like it used to be. Now, since he's older, it's kind of,
and they're now he becomes resentful of this because you notice he's killing everybody he goes after is
young and beautiful,
and working in the film industry.
Film or entertainment industry.
Entertainment. So he's, I think that's the biggest thing. He's resentful of youth.
Yep.
I agree. I can see this at this point in life. I can see his point of view. Not that I want to run over anybody, but well, maybe a few people. I
don't know. maybe a few. Maybe just very few. And let's talk about the stunts in this movie. Holy shit. I remember Tarantino, whenever I had to look this up, but I remember when they interviewed him on it, and he described Death Proof's action as real cars, real shit at full speed. And it's no shit. The speeds of the stunts were often at 80 mile an hour, even up to 100 mile an hour. And it's it's a lot better than any CGI shit they do nowadays. This is real.
Mm-hmm.
It's real cars slamming together. It's real, which makes me fucking cringe when we get to the next scene after a while.
Yeah. Once we get to the third act.
When he gets past, the chick's left the bar and he turns around, shuts the lights off, and he's waiting for him to come around the corner. He's revving the motor, kind of brake torquing it, getting ready to launch controller. Takes off that scene. Oh, man, I remember seeing that in the theater on the big screen. And, of course, it shows the hit, 4 or 5 times, so you see each one of them, like Jungle Julia.
Each one of the deaths. Oh, yeah.
Freaking body crumples up, her leg rips off and flops down the highway, and it looks so damn real.
Yeah.
And then the driver, you see the driver, she, her neck snaps. The little cheerleader goes from the back seat through the windshield, bounces off of his Death-Proof Nova, and then is like a rag doll rolling down the highway.
And then our final girl, our survivor, so we thought, our lead character, she gets her face just fucking peeled off by the rear tire of the Nova.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
And she was the only one that buckled up.
Me and Trav, I remember this very distinctly, even though we were reasonably intoxicated the first time we watched this at the theater. We got some really fucking weird looks when we stood up and went, yeah!
Yeah, we were cheering it on.
It was perfect, You you're a car guy and you're a horror fan, and you got them all in one.
Oh yeah.
It was.
Hey, let's rewind real quick to the beginning for something that something I forgot to mention. Believe it or not, on the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood show, and Grandpa wasn't here for that. So let's talk about the opening scene of fucking Quentin Tarantino's fucking weird ass foot fetish. I'm sorry.
The scene with Henry fucking Rollins.
God damn it! Why'd you knew I wasn't ready. Son of a bitch.
Say, Grandpa, I told you a minute and a half later before we got him.
All
right, sorry, Cody, go ahead. Yeah, his foot fetish.
He likes feet, yes.
The whole opening credits, and we get that in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, too. I understand, have a set of feet. If that's his thing, one of his Tarantino things he wants to throw in there. But as his films progress, he just keeps throwing more and more and more screen time to the feet. and it to the point where it's like this.
Well,
okay, now it's not entertaining. It's not funny. Oh, look, there's Tarantino's foot fetish. It's like, okay, we got 25 minutes of feet in this movie.
Yeah.
Is he doing another one, or was Hollywood? I know he wants to retire. Was Hollywood his last one?
He's officially canceled his next one, but he's thinking about another creative idea.
He's looking for another project
in the works.
He was going to do a movie called The Movie Critic that he wrote, which would bring back Cliff Booth, Brad Pitt's character.
But he changed his mind.
Yeah, which once I found that out, which this is just like 2 or 3 weeks ago, whenever he announced he was canceling that. Which part of me would have loved to seen the return of Cliff Booth because he was such a great character. But that being said, you don't need Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You don't need to continue that. That is its own thing. That to me will always, regardless of how good good or bad his 10th film is, he's never going to top Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for me. And I don't know that any movie ever will.
But the reason I ask is because I have a feeling that the way the world is today, in his next film, we won't see so many feet. I think he'll kind of back away from doing the feet thing because I don't think
so. Tarantino, he has always been very, very open about that, saying, you know what, hey, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do in my movies because it's just a fucking movie.
Look at From Dusk Till Dawn. He was sucking on Salma Hayek's toe.
Because if you watch the documentary,
you can't blame him on that one.
No.
Really, I mean,
if you watch this documentary,
what if she had some really nasty fucking toes though?
That would have been like,
dude, it's Salma Hayek. Seriously though, she could step in dog shit and do it, and you'd still do it.
Be like that, like that audio meme. Ooh, brother. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh shit. On that car crash we just got done covering though, I got some behind the scenes on it. You know, it looks like that car goes up and just goes right over the little Honda Civic, because that was a Honda Civic the girls were driving. Looks like it just goes on up over and then hits the road and rolls. Actually, that's 2 different scenes they did on that one. The first one demolished the first Nova, and of course the Honda Civic, they only got one of them. They didn't give a shit about them things. Like, we got to do this in one take, which they did. But the next one was just a rollover at high speed. They had one hell of a cannon underneath this thing to roll it over. And the stuntman's last name's Hooker. I think Bob Hooker, if I remember right.
TJ?
But no, I think it's Bob. That might be his nickname. I don't know. But anyway, his last name is Hooker. But you know, on the second car, they filmed the first one first, you know, where it's the head-on collision into the little Honda Civic, which was badass. And they blend it almost seamlessly. But then the second take, he's running down the highway, and Tarantino's idea, now they had 2 cars set up for this scene. They had 2 shots to get it. His idea was he wanted the car to come up, you know, that's going to hit the cannon, roll over, and that's when they're going to start filming. But he needs the car slightly turned at high speed when it hits the rollover, because he wants it to roll down the highway at least 2 or 3 times and then come sliding down to the camera. And he's like, I need like 60 foot, you know, or 60 yards of this car rolling. And the stunt guy's like, I can get you more than that. And he's like, all right. And he's like, let's do it, man. That's what we need. The stunt man got 160 yards after they blew the cannon on that one in one take with the first car. And that also might be why he sold him the other car for $500, because he got that scene in one take. And it slid to a stop like 30 yards from the camera where they had it set up, and it was perfect.
I can see it now. Kurt Russell's stuntman climbs out of the car after Tarantino calls cut and goes walking over there to him to check on him, and he's like, man, that was amazing. Hey, what's your name anyway? He said. The stuntman doesn't miss a beat. He looks at him and he says, call me Snake.
You know, then we get back to the feet thing you were talking about. What's one of the first things we see when we get to the next set of girls that he's stalking?
Oh my God. Yeah,
feet
Kurt Russell
hanging out of the car, and then Kurt Russell has to go tickle them, which added to Kurt Russell's character in this, though. I do gotta add that. But then he does it real creepy, like he throws down a set of keys and goes over to, oh dang, there's my keys, you know. But then Cody, I know you like this part of it. You get to see his next car when he backs out.
It's like, yeah, you
69 Charger.
You get the inbred cousin with the Nova, and then you get the thoroughbred.
Oh man. The creme de la creme. Yes. But then you find out in the story
with
the girls,
American Racing Vector Series wheels, just like the General Lee.
Yep. I was just fixing to point that out here in a minute. And that's another callback to the Dukes of Hazzard. But then these girls are talking about their Aussie friend wants to drive American Muscle. She wants to drive a 71 Dodge Challenger, just like the one from Vanishing Point. Just happens to know where there's a redneck out in the middle of nowhere. It's got one. So they go test drive.
Well, you say redneck. He lived out in the country. I mean, he was a mechanic, obviously. So, I mean...
when they leave their best friend there, the little cheerleader that's the actress,
she
wakes up, he's like... and this is the guy from
wasn't that
the
Bill
Water
Murray's
Boy.
brother? Yeah, it was Bill Murray's brother.
Yeah. And he's doing the same laugh he done in the Water Boy. How you doing?
Terribly underrated actor. I love that guy and everything.
Oh yeah.
But she was. They found in the first the opening scene was when they introduced a new group of girls when they're at the gas station, and Rosario Dawson buys the issue of Allure magazine that has the chick with the cheerleader uniform on, where she's in it, and she shows it to Bill Murray's brother. He's like, "Hey, you recognize her? That's her right there. We'll leave her with you while we go test drive the car."
He's like, he's like, what's she been in? He's like,
she's in the
movies.
She
in the porn?
Pornos? Oh yeah.
Yeah, Rosario's like, yeah, she has a few of them. He's like, hey, okay. Oh yeah, and I got one thing to nitpick though. All right. Now, the black girl Kim and her Aussie girl, they're stunt women. You know, they're in town working on a movie. One thing, you know, they want to play. What the hell was the name of that they were playing? Captain something. Oh, what the hell is that?
I didn't write it down. Sorry.
Ship's Mass. Okay, they're wanting to play. The blonde girls wanting to play Ship's Mass. So they do it. They get out there. They're getting it set up. Well, when they open the doors, okay, I've had a Kudu, which is the same thing as a Challenger, except it's Dodge and Plymouth. When you open the door, there is no door above the glass. It's an open glass design, just like the Camaro and the Firebirds. Well, they added that on this film for the belt straps around the windows, and that caught because I love Challengers and I love Kudus. That turns me off every time I see that. I hate that. I wish they would have wrapped a rope or something around the windshield and like done something around that instead of that. Yeah, granted they done it okay, but it's like, yeah, only thing it turned me off.
And you know,
but
I understand they're stunt women and they're thrill seekers, but they're at least both of them are not. I was going to say one of them, Zobel, but both of them are car nuts too. Are they really going to want to fucking crawl all over the cab and the hood of this beautiful
they're
fucking
stunt
car?
women? They're stunt women, and they're only test driving it.
Yeah, well, and they destroy beautiful cars all the time. So, yeah, I guess, yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah. And, of course, we've got our good buddy Stuntman Mike sitting in the bushes with binoculars watching them.
He's already been stalking them, yeah.
He's been stalking them.
Oh, tidbit of information. I don't know if you guys if you have it in your notes or anything, but, you know, Zoe Bell was a stunt woman already.
She was Tarantino's stunt coordinator for several films.
When she was doing all her hood stuff, he had to keep like, why are you hiding your face? She goes, well, because she's a stunt woman. So she was naturally doing what she's supposed to do. They're supposed to hide their face. He's like, no. And this, you can show your face. You can show your face. So he kept having to cut because she kept forgetting. And she would go like this or go like this. And he was like, stop it. I want to see your face.
And also, he wanted to hire a stunt woman for her, a body double for her. And she just, Zobel wouldn't have it. She said, any of the stunts you think are too...
What I do.
Any of the stunts that are too dangerous, you think are too dangerous for me to do, we just won't do. Said, I'm doing all my own stunts. So that was cool. And
she was Uma Thurman's stunt woman for those two
Kill Bill. Exactly. Kill Bill.
Yes, she was. Yep. Oh, and I forgot the car the girls are riding around in is a 72 Mustang, a callback to Eleanor from the original Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yes.
Did you notice the bumper sticker on their car?
I did, but I forgot it since last night.
Pussy Wagon. Callback to Kill Bill. Yes. Yeah, I almost forgot. And of course, we all know what the 70 Challenger, RT Challenger is. That's from Vanishing Point.
Better damn well know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. And the stunts they done on this car were live action. And even Zoe, I caught one, a snippet where they were talking. So the speeds you guys were going, when you were doing the stunts with the Challenger and the Charger slamming together, you're on the hood of the car. She's like, oh, fuck no. She's like, that shit was fast and it was fucking scary. She said, the one stunt coordinator they had there was wanting to do these scenes at 20 and 30 mile an hour. And both Zoe and Tarantino was like, no, this is going to look stupid. So they were doing these scenes at like 65, 75, 85 mile an hour or faster down the road for most of them. But yeah, and they're
well, I'm sorry. Finish that, Trav, and then it's story time.
They were scared to death. They were slamming around that. And finally, which you take the freaking 69 Charger it's a fucking huge car. People don't realize how big they are. The Challenger was not that big of a car. I mean, how much weight do you think the Charger had on the Challenger code? You had a Charger, so
I used to be able to tell you this, and I don't remember anymore.
It's at least 500-600 pounds heavier.
They were, the B bodies were heavier by far. Yeah.
So that car's slamming that thing around, and then finally gets them to spin out, and they don't really wreck, but they come to an abrupt stop, and it just throws Zoe off the hood of the car. They think she's dead. Well, stuntman Mike gets out, slams on the hood of the car. Well, ladies, that was a lot of fun. Kim pulls out her fucking piece and shoots him.
The thing he's not gonna kill him after this. He's like, that was a lot of fun. Well, later, ladies. And then she fucking shoots him.
He thinks he's already killed one of them, though. That's the thing. He thinks Zoe's dead.
Yeah, he's done got his rocks off.
Exactly. And Kim fucking shoots him in the fucking shoulder or arm. And this big badass stuntman Mike, after he gets shot, turns into Pussman Mike.
Turns into a bitch, yeah. Which, is that really realistic, though? I mean, he's a stuntman. These guys,
you would think he would have a higher pain tolerance, but he does say later on, careful, my arm's broken. So she did hit the bone and break the bone in two. That would be painful as hell. But you would think a stuntman would already went through this.
I do love how he keeps a fifth of whiskey, and he opens the glove box in the Charger. That's the only thing there is a fifth of whiskey. He's like, I'm prepared for this shit.
And the bar is, and what I love is how realistic it is, because once you put a roll cage in a car, it's not ergonomic. So the glove box doesn't open all the way. He's trying to, God, give me my fucking bottle of whiskey, and he gets it out. And then when he's tipping it up, he's hitting it on the roll cage of it. Ting, ting, gosh, damn it. And then he turns it this way. It was great. But yeah, and of course Zoe lives because she's Cat Zoe. They went through a big spill of that.
But that, like I was saying, Trav, that reminded me of a story. You're talking about how fast they were going, which people don't realize that have not rode in the back of a pickup at high speeds with an intoxicated driver or on the hood. You don't have to be going that fast for it to be very dangerous. And and scary. No. One night down at the old shooting stab, which I'll let Trav take over there. I think he knows what story we're talking about. We took our old buddy we went to school with, Coleman, down there with us. It's
AKA Six Beers.
Six Beers was his nickname because after 6 beers, he was.
His legs
you
quit
might
working.
as well put him under anesthesia because he was not going to function after 6 beers. But this little dive bar we used to go to down the road from my house, out in the middle of nowhere.
Called the Shooting Stab.
The Shooting Stab.
Is it still there? Is it still there?
It's
the
not
building
open,
but it's not
there.
open.
Okay.
We miss it greatly. They had 3 pool tables, and we would usually go down there and play on all 3 because nobody was ever there.
Was it reminiscent of like what you would see like the boar's nest from the Dukes? Was it a ball?
Exactly. It was a cinder block building with a tin roof.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Paul, I'll take some pictures of it and show it to you sometime next time I go by there because it's just about a mile from my house.
Okay.
We used to ride our 4-wheelers down there.
Yeah. We'd take off from my place and ride the bikes down there. Yeah. But we took Coleman, old Six Beers, down there one night, and well, he got to his 6 beers pretty quick. The bad thing about this place, and probably why it changed ownership so many times, all the owners were super friendly, but it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere where I live,
right on the Arkansas-Missouri line.
Yeah, and the county, it used to be there was a liquor store on the just right up the road from it. And the first county in Arkansas used to be a dry county. You couldn't buy alcohol in it.
Yep.
So that liquor store and this bar used to get a ton of business. And then here back 7 or 8 years ago, they made that county a wet county where they could sell alcohol. And that just killed the business. Not that they got a lot. Well, the liquor store did. The bar, not so much. But the bar changed hands a lot of times after that. But all the bar owners, I mean, me and Trav knew them all. We'd go down there on the weekends. Like I said, right down there in our 4-wheelers. It was right by the house, and go down and shoot some pool. But that they were always so friendly. I mean, me and Trav, well, anybody that's watched the show very much, yeah, we'll bullshit with anybody, and we're pretty friendly people. And any of the bar owners, when it changed hands, once we get to know them, we never paid for beer.
No. I got to run into tab one night, and we were doing hard liquor one night, and that's when JP or JT had it. And I know I had $100 bar tab at least, because we'd been doing shots, Jack and Wild Turkey. And I went up and paid, you're good, man. You're good, man. Go on. Oh, I'm like, well, at least let me tip the barmaid. Yeah, you can go ahead and do that. Good times, though. Oh, but anyway, back to your story, though.
No, you go ahead. You finish
6 beers. I was like, Cody, how many beers that Coleman's on? He's like, I don't know, 4 or 5. How many have we had here? I'm like, I don't remember how many rounds I bought. Well, the owner comes up and says, hey, bud, we need you to help us go get your buddy out of the bathroom. And we're like, oh, shit, what's he doing? He can't get off the toilet. He curled around the toilet. His legs quit working. So we go get him out, and we set him in a chair, kind of in a corner, and we just keep shooting pool and drinking, and we decide to leave. So we're getting ready to leave, and Cody's like, help me put him in. I'm like, fuck you, don't put him in the cab of my truck. He's going to throw up. We'll throw him in the bed. So we put him in the bed of the truck. Well, then some guys come out, and we get to bullshitting with them. And I leave, and I do my usual. I drive through the ditch. I don't use the driveway. And we get back to Cody's. And I kid you not, I completely forgot Coleman was in the back of his truck. And I had a deal every time I went to Cody's house. I went in his bottom backyard, and I did donuts. Well, this night I'd been hammered for a while, so I did donuts for what, a good 4 or 5 minutes, Cody? And then all of a sudden, I stopped, and I killed the truck, and I looked at Cody, and I said, oh, shit. And he's like, what? I said, Coleman. I forgot he was back there. We went back there and shined the light back. He looked like a freaking mad monkey spider. Just had a leg on the side of the bed and arm on, and his eyes as big around as a cat. I was like, thank God you're alive. I thought I'd killed him. I just knew I'd flung him out because we were doing some hardcore. But when I come down his driveway, we were doing like 30 mile an hour, and I just dropped it in second gear and cut the wheel and nailed it and started sliding down it.
My goodness.
Oh, yeah, we were pretty crazy.
Stayed in the truck the whole time, though, I guess.
Yeah, thank God.
So, he's a little guy.
It would have flung him out. It would have killed him if it had flung him out.
Oh, yeah. Man. Your own little death
proof. Heard from Coleman this evening. He told me he bought a muscle car.
Really? What did he buy?
A 67 convertible Volkswagen Beetle.
LS swap?
No, it's got the 14-horse motor in it.
Hey, Grandpa, okay, we were talking about the old big blocks. This is a car we need to do a big block swap in. Old school, 454, 455. That would be badass. All you see is tires and a big block motor because you couldn't have anything else on it. You know, make it a front engine. Shit, I'm going to build one of those. That sounds badass.
You have to weigh it down.
Mm-hmm.
You give it the gas and you'd be like Cody upside down on your roof.
Oh, it'd be a burnout machine though. That'd be awesome. But anyway, I guess we better get back to the film we're talking about, huh?
Yeah, I guess story time. So we need a story time drop.
We do. We need to invent one of those. Only problem is it'd come up 3 or 4 times during our podcast usually.
That's okay.
Yeah. So now the tables turn. Now they're like, let's go get that motherfucker. They're pissed. Zoe goes and finds a piece of pipe conveniently laying on the side of the road.
They always talk about her being there like a cat.
I'm okay.
Always
yeah, and now Kurt Russell's what we were talking about, getting his drink. And all of a sudden he looks up in the rearview mirror. Oh, shit! And she comes flying in with this beautiful Dodge Challenger. And just rear ends this 69 Charger. And at this point, I'm hurting. Because every time they bash one of these old cars, But I've had a Cuda, which is the same as the Challenger. You know, just Dodge and the Plymouth. That would have been the end of that car right there. As hard as she hit him, it would have wrinkled that up because it's a unibody. But anyway. But now we are fixing to go to one of the best I can't talk.
Cinematic.
Much drink. Yes, cinematic. Thank you, Grandpa. Scenes.
Have another drink, Grandpa.
In movie history.
You're still
in movie history. Now the scene goes on. Kurt Russell's trying to get his Charger in gear. He gets fired up, spins it out in the field, and Zoe goes over there with the fuck. And I'm starting to feel sorry for Kurt Russell. Right? She freaking ping pong. Quack, quack, quack. I mean, hits him 3 or 4 times with that pipe. And I'm like, shit, that should have knocked him out. But old Kurt's tough. He finally spins around and takes off. And they're like, Kim's like, get your ass in. Get back in the damn car. And they chase him down. And then we get more references. Let's see. Where's it at? Oh, during the chase scene, you know, this is a 20-minute chase scene between the Challenger and the Charger. We're not going to do it justice talking about it, but there's a scene where they're running down and she whips out and she's trying to get around and smash him off the road, and she hits a boat. Does anybody remember what that's a callback from?
No.
Rosario Dawson's like, did you just hit a boat? That's a callback from the original Gone in 60 Seconds. There is a scene where they drive through a boat, if you remember.
Long time.
It's been so long since I hardly remember the remake. It's been so long since I've watched either of them. Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Paulie.
You're doing okay not remembering the remake. That's all I got to say. I love Nick Cage, but no. Okay, how about the Chargers plate? We want more callbacks here. 983-Dan. That was the Chargers license plate from Dirty Mary Crazy Larry.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
Okay, and Stuntman Mike's rubber duck hood ornament. You know what that's from?
Oh, fuck yeah. The rubber duck.
That's from Convoy.
Yes, sir.
DJ
Convoy. I forgot to mention this first when we were on the Nova, but the Nova's license plate. Cody, you should get this one. It's JTZ-109. Just like Steve McQueen's Bullet Mustang plate.
Oh, I'll be damned. No, I didn't know that either.
Yep.
I love that movie.
Oh,
you know, I feel like we at least need to mention the late great Michael Parks, even though he has a small role in this film as the sheriff. He's like the bridge between the first group of girls and the second group.
Yeah, we left them completely out.
Yeah, him and his son. His son was playing the deputy. Yeah.
Yeah. What? Yeah, his son was like, so what do you think that he's stone cold sober? What do you think he does this for? And he's like, well, I think it's the only way he can get his jollies, son. It's the only way he can get that thing to work. But oh my gosh, the chase scene, we can't do it justice. The last chase scene.
So we'll just say, on and on.
In the end, they finally catch him.
Wait! You're forgetting about the poor motherfucker on the motorcycle when they go through the town.
Shit. Yep, I am. Go ahead. Yeah. Oh my
and this
god.
Poor bastard, I feel sorry for the stunt man because you know that was a real person. He hits this fucking curb and goes flying into this fucking crashing into this building, goes through the wall. And I mean, even if it was a lot slower and they sped it up, I mean,
I don't think they did for this.
I don't see how this guy pulled it off.
Granted, that was a breakaway wall, but oh my gosh, that had to hurt.
He hit it hard.
I figured, like if his name was Stuntman Michael, now he probably says it. My name's Stuntman Michael. That's how hard of a hit he took. Poor guy. Yeah, I forgot about that. But the very end scene, oh my god, it makes me cringe. They finally get up and do a pit maneuver. And this beautiful, even though it's bashed to shit by now, 69 Charger rolls several times.
Mm-hmm.
And and our it's Pussman Mike now. It's not Stuntman Mike.
Yeah, he's by now.
It rolls back over on its wheels, but it ain't gonna do nothing. He's he's just screaming out. And they come over, get his ass out of that car. He's like, careful, Barn, fucking broke. Barn broke. I know I shot it. And they finally drag his ass out of it. And then the poor bastard, it's just, it goes from one girl that hits him, the next girl hits him, even Rosario Dawson gets in it. And she's a fashion coordinator, She rears back and hits him, and then on that first pitch, she's like, oh, and then does it again. And every time he's getting ready to fall, he spins in another girl. And it's just like a fucking pinball machine for a good almost a minute. And then the poor bastard finally hits the dirt. And they're like, yeah, and they do a high five, and then Rosario Dawson does the final fucking head smashing. This is a fucking Mortal Kombat fatality right here if I've ever seen it. She throws her leg straight up there and comes down, boobies bouncing everything, and then smashes his head in. And that's the end credits.
With her little old leg.
I was like, holy shit, what a film. It was fucking awesome. This film from beginning to end.
The version I watched of it last night, which is another thing I'd like to bring up. The version I watched last night on
4 different versions.
Amazon. No, there are 7 different versions of this film that have been released. 7. This one did not have the final blow. It just had them all punching him until he falls down. Yeah.
Oh, you had the liberal version.
It did not have from the theatrical cut where she does the face stomp at the end.
My version is I believe it's called the theatrical plus. It's what they made Quentin take out just for. It was like really weird what they called it, but they made Quentin take stuff out through the theatrics, but then they added that in. So it's actually I forgot, it's the really long extended cut, the one that I got. It's the double box set.
I didn't realize there was
Grant Falls is probably the same one.
I didn't realize there was that many different versions of it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I thought there was 4.
Like, holy shit. But which makes me want to delve more into these because it's wow. You got to think about it too. These girls, they don't know who he is. They don't know he's already killed other people. They're like, this guy was just a psycho who was trying to run him off the road. Does that warrant fucking beating him to death?
No shit. I mean, he's just trying to have a little
fun.
I'm sorry. Okay, you've been watching these women for a while. And, we're not going to get into why you're watching them, but you've been watching.
And I gotta admit, I don't like the second group of girls near as much as the first group of girls.
And that's because look what they were doing to that fucking car. Look what they were doing to that Challenger. I mean, you see them, and then all of a sudden they're jumping on the hood of this car and going down the road, scratching the hell, denting the hood of this car. Like, you fucking
bitch, get off my
What
hood.
are you doing to the holy grail of muscle cars? What the hell? So Stuntman Mike had a reason to go after these girls. I'm sorry, that's the way I feel.
You got a point.
Okay.
That being said, he destroyed the Nova, and he was probably fully. Well, he pretty much destroyed the Charger too. That was on him.
Yeah, but
he started destroying
the Nova. No. He just did some love taps. It's it's Days of Thunder right there. Rubbin's racing. But so on this one though, I've got to give one of my biggest regrets in my 41 years on this earth. I could have bought one of the Challengers that they used on this film.
What?
I was talking to the guy that had it for sale. He happened to put it up, and I was the third guy to ask him about it, the only one that got an in-depth conversation. It was one of the movie cars they used. It was not a 70. I believe it was a 72 or 73 that they'd cut the taillights out of and put the correct taillights and made it look like a 70. But it was a theatrical movie car that was used in the movie. And he took pictures of the sides. And he said, now, all of this isn't, he said it is going to need panel work, but he said a lot of it is stickers because they actually use stickers to make it look worse.
I'd heard that,
yes. And
accentuate the dents, mate, so it'd show up from a distance.
Yes. It was a 318 car. The interior was trash, but I could have bought this car. It was sitting in California, though. I could have bought this car for $4,000.
Holy shit.
And I didn't do it. And I was like, well, man, I don't know. I can't come out there and get it. I'm like, I'll have to check into shipping. And this is how in depth me and this guy got. He's like, okay. He's like, well, I understand that. He's like, I have some companies that will ship it to you. And I'm like, awesome. And it was going to cost me like $2,500 to get it shipped here from California. And I backed out. So I could have had a Challenger that was used on fucking Death Proof for under $8,000.
Man, I would have.
And I didn't fucking do it.
I'd have bought that thing, got a plane ticket, or even been cheaper, got a bus ticket, got on the bus, went all the way out there, and just rented me a full U-Haul car trailer, and a U-Haul truck, and I would have brought it back myself.
I should have, Polly. And you know what's bad? I had $5,000 cash, and all I'd have had to do was get another $2,000 or $3,000 to get it.
Yeah, he just sold one of his kids. He was doing.
Oh, I didn't have kids back then, dude. I was single, footloose, and I still lived with mom and dad, dude. But I had a Barracuda sitting in my garage too, which is probably why I didn't get it. But I still wish I would have bought that motherfucker. That's when I still had my 74 Barracuda then.
Do you still have the CUDA?
No.
Let's tell that story now. It's time for story time again, folks.
Okay, I'm not gonna. I'm trying not to be mean here, but who gets rid of a CUDA? Unless
it's exactly.
Well, this is the only regret I have. This is the only regret. I didn't give my CUDA away. Like you gave your Charger away.
I didn't give my Charger away.
Yeah, how much did you get out of it?
I graduated high school. I bought a 68 Dodge Charger that had been sitting in the field with no motor in it for 20 years. And I'd done some work. I put a motor in it, but it still had a long way to go. The year in 2012, the year after my first daughter was born, I think I gave $1,200 for this Charger. I sold it for $5,500 because I new father did not think I would be able to afford to do anything with it, which in all honesty, it would probably still be sitting in the barn.
You got 2 kidneys. You can sell one of them.
This asshole gave me so much shit about getting rid of this Charger when I was already feeling horrible about getting rid of it in the first place.
I'm going to be honest.
Prick, go ahead and
when he told me how much he got out of it. Okay, wait, pause, Cody. Pause, Cody. I'm going to be honest with you there. When he told me he sold it, and I'm asking him, and he finally tells me how much he took, I literally switched hands and I slapped the shit out of him on his front porch. I honestly did.
He smacked me hard enough in the back of the head, I went blind for a minute.
Man. If you had it today, you could put one of your kids through college with it.
He likes to argue that it was the alcohol poisoning that made me go blind, but I know better.
It was the direct injection alcohol poisoning to the eyes after the slap that did. But so then, fast forward to several years later, my 74 Barracuda is paid for. It's a 400 big block, beautiful car.
Needed it's not a rusted out old piece of shit sitting in your barn. No. It's a beautiful, drivable car.
And my first wife wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Piper was on her way. We already had 2 other kids. Piper was on her way. So I decided to sell my car so she'd be a stay-at-home mom. So I sold it. And then 6 months later, she's like, I want to go back to work. I'm like, you fucking what? Yeah. That is my only regret for my first marriage. I sold my fucking dream car. But I did sell it to the right people. I sold it to a couple from Illinois. They were both, the wife was already retired. The husband was getting close. They'd had Barracudas in the past, and the husband saw how much this was hurting me. I'm helping him load it on the trailer, and he said, hold it, son. He's like, we can't do this right now. Like, why? And he handed me the keys, and I'm like, sir, this is your car. He's like, no. He's like, you got to take her for one last drive. I was like, sir, you don't want me to do that. He's like, well, I said, if I go take that car one more drive, I'm not going to be able to sign that title. And his wife's like, well, let's go in and sign the title. Then he can take it on a drive. And I'm like, no. I said, I appreciate the hell out of it. But I said, nope, let's load her up. So I helped him load it up. And I'm not kidding you. I fucking cried when I walked back to my house. I really did. I loved that fucking car. They took her. They gave it the body work it needed. They took the 400 out of it. They put a built 440 in it. They did exactly what I told them I was going to do to the interior. And it's a beautiful car, and it's with the right couple. And I see it. It hurts me to see it on Facebook every other week or two when it's pretty cruising weather, but it's also gives me satisfaction. I know she's being taken care of.
I'll have to take some screenshots. When my aunt moved, when my grandmother passed away, she moved to South Carolina, and here recently she's been sending me stuff here and there. And she sent me a bunch of DVDs that my uncle had transferred for my grandfather from all of his 35 millimeter home videos. Oh, well, there's stuff. There's video. So there's DVDs there's stuff of me in there that I've got to rip and put together as just a film of just my stuff. But it's me.
I got to see this stuff, Paul.
It's me from 1971. And in one of the videos, you can see my dad. He had a 70 and a half Camaro, the split bumper.
Ooh. Yeah, split bumper. Yeah.
And my uncle had a purple Barracuda, and you can see them in the driveway.
Oh.
And even my mom, she had a Cutlass Supreme, and it even had my dad had the wheels put on it, so it had the sport. It for a mom's car, it looked badass. But because I was little, I don't remember them. But I will have to put those in my computer and take some screenshots and post them. They were beautiful cars. I mean, it was 71. I think when these were taken, I was only maybe 7-8 months, because I was born in November, and all these were taken, I do believe, in February or March of the following year when it was warm and we were all outside doing stuff. But they're so beautiful. And that's why, I'm a huge Camaro guy, because my dad, I got that one behind me. That's this one is a 71. But I've just been a Camaro person, Fisher bodies. I like your Trans Am too, and I like Firebirds. I like all that stuff. I wasn't a big CUDA guy. I'll be honest with you, until I saw Phantasm. Then I was like, that's a beautiful fucking car.
Yes.
And then my uncle was like,
I had
one. Yeah, my uncle's like, I had one. I said, no. And then, he showed me pictures of it, but to actually see it on the home video and see me walking around in the driveway, it was like, I can honestly tell people, I may not remember it, but, I was playing around a good old Barracuda. But yeah, it was that movie that made me go, that's a fucking badass car, dude. It's a fucking badass car. And I've loved Barracudas since. But I wish I could see one in person again, because like I said, I don't remember what it was like in 1971. So I would love to see one. I've gone to car. I've just been the most unluckiest bastard, because every car show I've ever gone to, there's never been any Barracudas there. I don't know if they're rare now. I don't know what the deal is.
Rare.
Okay. Because you'll see Camaros and Mustangs for all day long at a car show, and Novas and all that, but I never see. I have never seen in person a Barracuda since 1971, so that's pretty sad.
Mopar muscle cars were like the lowest produced of all the cars in the muscle car era. Mopar, Chrysler just didn't make near as many.
Because as much as I love the Challenger, and the Charger from Dukes of Hazzard, being a kid growing up, then they was like the coolest car ever. I still think the Barracuda is the best car that came out of Plymouth Dodge.
Man, I'll probably never be able to afford another one, but because you just take a solid rolling chassis on any of the 70 through 74 is going to cost you anywhere from 15 to 18 grand just from a rolling chassis. That's no motor, no transmission, just a solid rolling chassis that needs work itself. Yeah. I found a few after I bought my Trans Am, and I was like sick, but don't get me wrong, I'd trade my Trans Am for a Barracuda. I would, but
would anybody trade?
You'll trade it for something eventually, because you can't hold on to a fucking vehicle, you prick.
I mean, it just makes me wonder.
I will. If I get another CUDA, I will. I guarantee you that.
That's what I'm saying. You would trade your Trans Am for a Barracuda, but would someone be willing to trade a Barracuda?
See, that's the thing. I've got to find somebody in my shoes. Now, don't get me wrong. I like my Trans Am. The big blocks are growing on me every time I drive it. I mean, it's a lot of damn fun. It's the cure for erectile dysfunction. We'll just put it that way. I guarantee you that. You get in there, let off that clutch. You can either burn them for a mile, or you can hook it and launch it back and throw you in the seat. I've almost made my son puke in it already, just from hitting first, second, and third gear. He's like, "Dad, don't do that way." He's like, "I'm dizzy," and he started burping. I'm like, "Don't you puke in this car?" He's like, "I'm dizzy." And my daughter's in the back. She's like, "Bryce, why is this bothering you? He used to do this all the time in his other white car he had." I'm like, "Baby girl, my 2012 Challenger wishes it could do what this thing can do off the line." I'm like, "No." But yeah, if I got to find a guy that got a Barracuda, he likes it, he doesn't love it, but he's a Trans Am nut, is the only way I'm going to trade. But unless they have one that's just a cruiser and it's not really badass, needs a lot of work, and they're wanting something that's fun to play with and rattle stop signs and get tickets in, then they may trade. But yeah, but I do got to admit, the Trans Am, every time I put the key in it and fire it up, even though it cost me $10 every time I put the key in the ignition, and just back it out of the garage and pull it back in, that's a $10 bill every damn time, just to start it up and let it warm up. It's growing on me. It really is.
Is that the original color? Did you have to have it painted or anything, or
no? That's the color I bought it. I bought this car the way it sits, except the guy I bought it off of had way too big of a quadrajet on it. He bought a quadrajet and put on it that didn't even have any.
Trav, you mispronounced quadrajunk.
Quadrashit. Yeah. But no, it functioned fine, but it was way too big, and it didn't even. I've never seen one like it. It didn't even have anything for a choke mechanism on it at all. It was just straight open. He ordered this carburetor for it, and it had no choke. So you either had to sit here and sit in it for 15 minutes and throttle it, or you were killing it at every stop sign you come to for the first 20 minutes of driving. So I put an Edelbrock 750 on it. Did a little bit of tuning, changed the stroke.
Plug and play.
Finally got the right spacer. I did a little bit of tuning. I'm learning. I'm not real good at tuning a carburetor, especially one for a big block. But I've got her now where she's pretty damn healthy. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I've got to stiffen up my rear suspension bad, or I'm gonna start breaking stuff.
How long have you had it?
Hey,
she hooks. About
we're getting older. We all
7
need
months,
to stiffen up our rear
7, 8
suspension.
months.
So it's new. It's new. You haven't
it's
had
still
it
new.
Okay.
But if I keep it much longer, I am going to put a hydraulic clutch kit in it because it's the old mechanical clutch, and I'm not going to lie, after driving it half of a day, my left leg is dead, and I can't hit second gear.
Oh shit!
I drive
You remember
the
truck you learned to drive in, the old '78? Your dad bought new that my granddad drove for years. The '78 Chevy. That sucker had a manual clutch in it. And oh shit, I learned to drive a stick shift in that, and with my scrawny ass, like 100-pound soaking wet weight, and my scrawny legs trying to drive that.
Imagine if that had a built. Yeah, imagine if you had a built 455 under the hood of that with a positive track rear end on it and 12-inch tires hooking up. Yeah. Oh, and I did learn something. I drove it to work. We had like a 10% chance of rain, and of course Donovan got all fucking 10% chance of rain while I was at the gym. My car's not worth a fuck when it rains on asphalt. I have absolutely, because I can't take off easy in it. I mean, anytime you take off, when you catch the clutch, it rocks you back now since I've tuned the carburetor and got the right spacer on it. And she's getting what she needs, and she likes it, and she don't take sips. She takes drinks. So I was sitting at the courthouse from the gym, Cody, I'm talking on that hill. I was in second gear before I finally started going. I started going back downhill. And I was in second gear and I was sideways before I ever started coming back up. I'm like, Jesus, I'm never going to make it down Y Highway in this bitch.
I got a few cars to show you guys. I don't know how good they'll show up. This is my stepmother. This is from the 80s. This was when I was a kid. This is my stepmother's car. It's a 240Z.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then, let's see. This was my first car. 77.
Oh,
can't
Hell
get
yeah.
Won't focus, but yeah, I had it was like that ugly orange. I like
the burnt orange.
My dad had a ghetto. I call it the ghetto because it's a Porsche, but it was a 944. It was a four. Those were 4 cylinders. They weren't. I mean, yeah, they were fast, but they were the slowest Porsche you could get. But he wanted a Porsche, so he got a 944.
But they still weren't slow.
No, Porsches are good about putting the horsepower to the ground. It's not about how much horsepower they make. The Porsches were focused on putting it to the ground.
Here's two of my. I love driving these things. When I was a kid, there's this 55 Bel Air.
Oh shit, yeah.
Holy shit.
And that truck. Okay, the Bel Air was an automatic. That truck was 3 on the tree.
3 on the tree.
I swear I had to push my own leg down with my 2 hands to push the clutch in. It was so hard to drive. But those are such beautiful. I miss those things. They're so beautiful.
Oh my God, yeah.
I love them to death. As I say, I like music and I like cars. I never got to tinker because my dad was the kind of guy who said, why do it yourself when you can have someone do it for you? So he bought all those. When he bought that 240, it was whoever he bought it from mistreated it, and they used Bondo and chicken wire and all sorts of stuff. So my dad, the guy who rebuilt it for my dad, did it right. Pulled all that shit out and did it all right. Cost my dad, probably would have been cheaper for him to find one that was already in good shape, but he bought it. It was a piece of crap, and he spent tons of money. So it was my stepmother's pride and joy. She loved it. For its time, they were fast. I mean, if that car was still in the family now and I took it out, I mean, probably my freaking Sonata would probably beat it. But back then, it was a quick, fast, those Datsuns, because this is before they were called Nissans. It was, it was a Datsun 240ZX.
Oh, yeah.
And I love cars, but I know I'm envious of you two because you can buy a shell of a car and poof. And with time and effort, you can have what you want. I got to buy what I want. So
we can't afford that shit anymore,
buddy. I can't quite have what I want, but hopefully when my hillbilly garage gets open and I'm actually start flipping some cars and stuff, maybe I can build what I want. But I can get close.
That's why I had asked you a couple weeks ago, because I remember I cried for you that day when you hit that deer. I was like, I'm like, I can't, I was like, I can't, that poor fucking guy, man, that's gotta suck. And then that's when I was like, I wonder if he bought, because I know you're a mechanic, and I thought maybe he bought it back and you just had it sitting. I thought maybe you bought it back with the insurance company and had it sitting, but then you told me they wanted too much for it.
Oh my God! Yeah, they wanted almost it was over $7,000 to buy that car back, and
it's weird too.
2012 Challenger.
They totaled it,
it had
and they wanted a shit ton of money.
70,000 miles on it, and I drove the shit out of that car. And I'm like,
I can vouch for that.
It blue booked. I mean, it blue booked in pristine condition for 12, and I'm like, no, because once it gets that salvage title, unless I'm just going to build the shit out of it, make it what I want, and I'm like, I'm not losing money on this car. So I got my insurance money from it. And I got to say that my insurance company done me right. They paid me the blue book value for my car, and then they gave me an additional $1,800 on top of that, because that would be the taxes to buy the car that it blue book valued from.
Okay.
So, and that's how I went and got my Trans Am.
So you bought the Trans Am locally? It was a local guy that you got?
No, it was almost a 6-hour drive away. I went and looked at it.
Still in Missouri, or was it?
No, Kentucky.
Kentucky? Where in Kentucky did you buy it? Do you remember?
I do.
That's where I used to live.
This guy, now my Trans Am, he is the second owner of the car. So I'm the third owner of the Trans Am. He bought it off a guy that bought it and raced it, but didn't hop up the motor. Well, he bought it, and he just took the motor out of it because it wasn't bad enough. And he rebuilt the motor, put it in it, took the transmission out of it, took another guy, had it gone through, and changed the color because it was originally a silver Trans Am. Okay. And he didn't like silver Trans Ams. He called that the bitch color. So, so he painted it. That's actually a Corvette blue is the color of my Trans Am. For back in the 70s. And all this guy done, nope, it's blue. It's the Corvette blue that if you hit, you're colorblind. So what the fuck?
That's blue as shit, dude. I don't know how you thought it was purple.
But
you've seen it in person.
That car, that guy got it when he was 32. I think he said he was 32, and now he's 64. So he's had it all the years, and it's seen one rainstorm, and he told me it was 0% rust, and I didn't believe him. Of course, everybody says their shit's 0% rust. But I have, where I work, I use a lift, so I put it on a lift, and I'm looking around,
my old lady, at least.
And I'm like, that's crust, not rust. But anyway, I was like, holy shit. I'm like, what, dude, what do you see? Is like, here, see if you can find anything. Like, what are you looking for? I'm like, I can't find any rust. And they're like, oh, yeah. I can't either. I'm like, yeah, that guy wasn't lying. It's 0% rust car. There's no rust on my car. And it's a factory 455 big block with 4-speed transmission. I didn't think it was when I bought it because the price I got it for, I couldn't believe he let it go for that. But he did. But the tires on it, I about shit because when I test drove this car, I got it sideways twice with him in the car with me. And he was laughing his ass off. He loved it. And we come back, and he's like, son, if you don't buy this car, I'm taking it down. And we haggled on the price a little bit. I wound up loading it on the trailer. But when I got it back home, I'm like, I need to put some tires on it because the one tire, he'd curbed it. And I mean, dude, I could stick my pinky in there that far from the freaking rotisserie stripe on that. And it was only a 4-ply sidewall on this car. And I got to looking at these tires, and I'm like, shit, I've never heard of these. There was like a wide 30 or something like that was the size of the tire.
Oh, it was in standard, not metric. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the hell? And the tire guy at work had to call somebody, and that guy didn't know, and he had to call his supervisor that was like 70 years old. Oh yeah, that's an old tire. And I called Bruce and I told Bruce he's like, son, he said, I haven't seen any of those since the late 70s. So that's how old them fucking tires were on this car.
Meanwhile, he's running at 100 miles an hour down the road.
Yeah, on the damn test drive, I got it sideways twice. And one of the damn tires, he told me, oh yeah, I come out of the bar and I pissed off some guy because I done a burnout and his old lady wanted to go for a ride and I come out of the bar and the fucker stuck a ice pick in the side of my tire. So I plugged it and forgot about it and I've been driving it like that for 25 years. I'm like, oh, what? On a fucking plug in the sidewall. I mean, it was still sticking out like that. So I got tires and we pulled the wheels off, and my buddy that does all the wheel work at work, he's like, I'm not putting them tires on these rims. I'm like, why? He's like, look, in the back side of my Kragers, every spoke was cracked all the way around. And I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, I mean, it was one good hook from just snapping them son of a bitches off. I was like, holy shit. So my car, my first 3 weeks I had it set in the garage at Chevy. Thank God I got a great boss that'll let us do that. But yeah, it sat in the garage at Chevy for the first 3 weeks till we figured out the tire and rim combo that would fit. Because I had to get my rims offset because I've got 10 or 12-inch tires on it.
So since you are car guys, I'll ask you, because I was talking to my wife about this today. In the late 70s, my dad was going through a Stingray phase and he was buying like Corvettes like every other year. And I'm not a huge fan of Corvettes, but I do like them. Either. My question to you guys is the new ones. To me, they've lost the appeal of a Corvette because they look European. I'm not the biggest fan of the way they look now. Okay. I thought maybe I was alone on that.
I was not a fan of them either, but since I worked for a Chevy dealer, I've drove 3 of them.
Yeah, they handle and drive them. I haven't drove one, but
they're competing with Ferrari, is Chevrolet's whole thing. All right, the top end Vet right now is like right at 200, a little over 200,000. But the Ferrari they're competing with is a $600,000 car, and they're kicking its ass. Okay. So I mean, when you go buck for buck, the Corvette's the way to go. But okay, here's the thing: I'm 41. I'm still in relatively good shape. I have to fall into these fucking cars. I shit you not. And for me to get out of them is not comfortable. I've drove 3 of them since I've been at Chevy. I drove one of them, the low end one. It's a $95,000 one. That's the low end. I had to drive it on a car hauler that doesn't have the bed that comes down, so I had to drive it up the ramps, and it was wet and rainy. And my boss at work was like, I want Travis to load that. Don't let nobody else touch it. I want Travis to load it. I'm like, okay. All the other guys wouldn't have touched it anyway. I'm like, why? They're like, it's a $95,000 fucking car. I'm like, it's just a fucking car. It's not like it's a fucking Barracuda. They make these motherfuckers every day. I drove it up on top of that wrecker and loaded it. No, Richard Joyner, the ex-police chief, he works for Chevy now in his retirement days. But he's guiding me because once I got the nose up on the trailer, now that was a little unnerving because all I can see is sky and you can't see around the car. I'm like, hey Richard, what's it look like? It looks good. Keep on coming forward. I'm like, all right, tell me when I need to stop. And I drove it up there and stopped. And when I stopped, it skidded a little bit and hit the bump stop. I'm like, all right, we're good. But now the most high end one, it was 4 years old, and I know it was a $165,000 car. The battery had died in it, and it was one of our customers, and I had to go in their garage. I had to change the battery out, and I fired it up, and it ran like shit. I think it's just because it's been setting so much. And you'll know who this is, Code. It's I'm not going to use no names on the podcast, but they own a mountain out on K Highway. We'll put it that way. And he'll probably figure out who it is. His 70-something-year-old wife. Yeah, I don't see how she gets in and out of this car. But anyway, it's her car. He won't touch it. So I put the battery in it, and I called my boss. I'm like, hey, I was like, it's running like shit. But I said, this car's 4 years old, and it doesn't even have 200 miles on it yet. I shit you not. The valves are not even broke in on this car. I'm like, it needs to be drove. He's like, whatever you think, man. Take it down the road. Like, okay. So I drove that car down the road, and I will say They are addictive. If I won the lottery, I would probably buy one, and I would probably fuck it up, but I would buy one.
Are the high? I heard, and I don't know if it's true. And you work at Chevy. The high end ones, they're set up to where they won't let you even go full power until it hits a certain mileage. Like the computer won't let you. No, like you can go.
Actually, even your low end, the $90,000 ones, for the first 3,000 miles, it will not let you get it over like 4,500 RPM.
Okay.
You have to run a break-in oil in it, and then after 500 to 800 miles, you have to put on another grade of break-in oil, and then after that, you run the oil they advise you. I forgot what that is, but it's expensive shit. And then after, I want to say it's 1,500 to 2,000 miles, then it's however you want to drive it.
Okay. Because I was shocked when I bought my car, my fucking Sonata. The guy's telling me, now you got to go at least 600 miles before you really get into it. I was like, okay. I didn't believe him at first. I was just trying to tell me that, but I looked in the manual. It's sure as hell, go 600 miles normal, and then you can give it. I was like, damn, I've never had to break in a car, and I didn't think I'd ever have to break in a fucking Hyundai Sonata. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, you'd think that'd be pretty much, you put them on the floor and it ain't gonna hurt nothing.
Yeah. But do all these sports cars nowadays, do your Hellcats and Red Eyes and all that, do they require a break-in period too?
Oh yeah, Dodge is really big on it. Like I had a buddy, they bought a Hellcat and it was a manual transmission, and I could have slapped, dude, they had a 70 Challenger with an all aluminum 426 modern built Hemi in that son of a bitch. Oh my god, it was a hell of a car. 800 horsepower fucking engine. They sold that car, they gave it away. Back then, they sold it for just under $30,000. And to get this Hellcat, they sold 3 of their vehicles and still had to go into debt for 5 years to get this Hellcat. Damn. I got this Hellcat, but dude, they couldn't get this car over 2,500 RPM for like the first 500 miles. It had like 4 or 5 different stages. Dodge is the worst one on there. And the computer will not let you do it until you get to that break-in period.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I guess I knew the Corvettes did, but I didn't know if Dodge did. But I thought they did. But
after that, you better go ahead and, like, when you got an extra $20-$30, go to your tire guy and have a deposit you can make and just keep going bi-weekly. Because Ralph was like, third gear, he can be running 60 mile an hour and open her up. And he said, the bitch would just start lighting up the tires. He said, just smoking them. He said, it's unbelievable.
Because it's like I see on the internet all the time, there's a war going on, a war between you got your Mustang dudes with their Coyotes,
mm-hmm.
You got your Hellcats and now your Dodge Mopar guys. And then you've got a handful of the Corvette guys. And then you've got the Honda dudes with their 1,000 horsepower Civics and shit. It's like the bickering they go through. Oh, mine's better. It's like, how does a layman like me know which motor is actually better?
Well, you know what?
Guys are always hitting telephone poles, and
as much as it pains me, and I'm sure Trav too, to say this, but when it comes down to it right now, as much as me and Trav are Ford and not Ford, but Mopar.
Said you go tranny on my ass?
But I was going to say most bang for your buck factory. It's hard to beat the Mustangs now.
Okay.
No.
The power they produce from the factory with the suspension. If you're just looking for a bang out the box track car,
fuck that. I can still buy used SRT Challengers that will take care of that problem.
The Challengers, that's the thing. Mopar has never got past being that, but they are straight line cars. They still are. They're not track cars.
Now, dude, I do gotta admit,
drag race, but they
I bought a new
got into the circle track.
You remember my Camaro? Dude, that was the funnest car to drive I'd ever bought. I bought a brand new 2014
it was
Camaro.
fun when Sheep drove it because he was about 3 sizes too big to fit in the driver's seat.
They're not made for a man that's 6'8". But yeah, that car was fun, and it was just a V6, and it had 320 horses. But it was high RPM though. It didn't redline till 7.5 RPM, 7.5 grand. I mean, so whenever I was running it, once I never got below 5,500 RPM when I was running, and it was so well. My factory tires, I got 2,500 miles out of my factory tires, and they were bald because I kept it sideways. It was so much fun.
V6 Camaro man right here.
Dude, it was fun. Yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding you. It was fun, and you could do donuts. You could do e-brake fucking turns into 90-degree turns like nothing in that car, and do it with your pinky finger on the steering wheel. It was so easy to drive. It was fun. I'll admit it. I'm a Mopar guy, but it was fun.
Yeah, well, I think we've got to the point in the show where I can say the moral of this whole stories we've been telling here is if you have a real muscle car, don't sell it.
Exactly, because you will fucking regret it, and they grow in value.
It's true. It's true.
What's up, gents?
Okay, hey. Poe got tired of me fucking with the cutscenes. He's back.
He's like, damn, it takes this guy 5 minutes to hit the fucking button. What the hell?
I was going to say, there's a guy that lives down the street from me. He's got a brand new Mustang. I swear, when you hear him go by, you're like, dude, someone's out there speeding. And you open the curtains, and he's barely putting down. The exhaust is so loud, it sounds like he's going fast, and he's just crawling.
I'm just going to
say that's because Mustangs. That's because Mustangs are looking for crowds, and he's revving his engine because if he sees a crowd, he has to open up and then slide into them and kill people. I mean, you watch Mustangs from car shows. That's what they all do.
Yeah, every Mustang hits the pole, hits other cars. Yeah, they have the worst reputation, Mustang drivers.
Anybody that drives a Mustang is an unbearable asshole. Okay, I'm just gonna say it.
One of the guys I work with was looking at trading his truck for a V6 convertible Mustang. I'm like, dude, there's only two kinds of people you see driving those. He's like, what's that? I was like, chicks and guys that like to suck dicks.
I'm telling you, anybody that I've ever met or ever seen that drives a Mustang is a unbearable asshole.
I do have one party that I can say is not, and I got a buddy that drove a Fox body Mustang, and he was all right. But other than that, I completely agree.
I was at I just got the car and had it for a couple weeks. I'm at a red light, and there's a guy and his wife next to us, and me and my wife are over here, and he's revving his engine. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll go, because I could tell by the way it sounded it was EcoBoost. So I'm like, okay. And the light turned green, and he took off, and I took off, and I never saw him again. And I was just in my Sonata, so I know I can take an EcoBoost.
Yeah. Dude, I had a guy when I first started working at Chevy. I had my Challenger, and my Challenger was just a 5.7 Challenger. You know, they're not the fastest thing on the road, but they're no slouch.
Yeah.
He had an EcoBoost fucking Mustang. Oh man, I eat them Challengers for breakfast. I'm like, let's go. I'll be your Huckleberry. I was like, let's go out at lunchtime. He never would race me. And I think, well, the first time, which he talked to some of the guys that knew me, and he's like, oh, you ain't going to run that old Challenger too hard. You afraid you break it? I'm like, sunshine, at my age, I can fix my own shit. I got full coverage, and I don't give a fuck. And I wrap this motherfucker out, redlining it every damn gear, every damn day I drive it. I said, come on, sunshine, bring your little gerbil cage to the line and let's run them. And he never would run me. And I really wanted to run that car. But I do got to say, if he was going to come around me, I probably would have put us both in the ditch to keep him fucking doing it. It's a damn four banger. I couldn't take that. I would have fucking death proofed his ass right there.
Dude, I got a funny Mustang story real quick. My brother, my youngest brother, Steve, he had a Trans Am. Baby Poe. He had a Trans Am. And my cousin Jeremiah wanted to have a muscle car, so he got a Mustang because he's an unbearable asshole. But anyway, he got a Mustang.
I like it.
And well, anyway, he couldn't afford it, so went back to the dealership, and then he was talking shit to my brother one night, and we're all hanging out, and then he goes, "Man, Steve, you're just jealous because for a slight moment I had a faster car than you." And he goes, "The only thing best about that car is how fast it went back to the dealership." Oh my God.
Yep. Grandpa, you remember when I was talking to you in Hawkins when you two were talking about your cars and racing? I was like, hey, I want to race my Trans Am against you guys. I'm one of my buddies put me on one of their pages, Tri-State Auto Tuners, and it's a bunch of guys with these little Fast and Furious cars. That's fine, that's their thing. Well, they were talking about all getting her out and drag racing. And I sent them the same video I sent you and Hawkins, my car sitting there idling. I was like, oh, guys, can I come play? And they're like, no. I'm like, what? I'm like, come on. I was like, you don't even know what my car's about.
That's what I said. The moment you said, can I race? I was like, hell no. Hawkins' car can't beat mine. But I was like, neither of us can beat that one. I was like, no. Well, the weird thing about my car is it's got I don't know any of this mumbo jumbo, but you guys definitely do. It's an 8-speed wet. It's called a dual clutch wet transmission.
Yep.
I don't know.
Wet clutch. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So, and I've got paddle shifters, so I can, it's not a real manual, but I can, if I activate I can redline it if I want. But even just without using the paddles, when I punch it, it will it'll lay rubber. And then when it gets into second gear, it'll do it again. And you can feel each shift. I mean, it shifts it's got power. I don't know why they would put that much power into a family sedan. I mean, I'm glad they did because I'm getting to, I got all these problems going on in my life. So it feels good to just not race, but go out and race for myself. I shouldn't say anything because I don't know who's listening, but I did hit one. I don't tell my wife, so I know she ain't. She's at work. I hit 144 in that son of a bitch.
Woo!
And it was smooth. It wasn't too rough. But when I was doing 70, and then I said, "Fuck it, I want to see what it can do," and I floored it, and I fucking went. That's a lot of power for a sedan. I don't know what Hyundai was thinking, but I'm grateful. Yeah, I can't beat no Chargers or Hellcats or anything, but when I want to open the roof and just go and forget about my troubles, it's got what I need, and that's why that's why I wanted it. I just didn't realize it was as powerful, as they say. I was like,
that's what Cody was talking about, the modern engines. I mean, look at the iconic 426 Hemi. 426 horses. The standard pickup truck coming on the line has 420 some horses now. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just technology. But if you modernize a 426 Hemi, that's a bad mamma jamba right there. You're looking at 850, 900 horses then. And like probably 2 miles to the gallon because my built 455 gets almost 6. Not quite 6, but almost 6. So. But it don't matter because it's a lot of fun.
But yeah, you can't come to the race party. You'll beat me. You can't. You're not allowed to bring the Trans Am anywhere near my car.
We can play. We can play. Okay, I'll give you so many links before I take off.
You're going to give me the hit, is what you're saying. You're still going to beat.
I'll give you a handicap. It sounds good. Aaron, I ain't giving him shit because he talks a lot of shit. So
I think I could take off quicker than you, but once you got going, it'd be.
I don't know, Grandpa. You got to remember though, the Pontiac Big Block, all of its powers in low end torque. I redline at 5. My engine redlines at 5,500 RPM.
So probably
dude. I got enough torque. I put factory shocks on it, and I've already bent both of my shocks. I've got to upgrade my rear suspension.
She's probably
a torquey bitch.
You can bring the other one. You said you could bring the Bronco. Was it a Bronco you sent me a picture of?
Oh, hell no, Blazer.
You can bring that. I'm pretty sure.
Wait, hold on. Now I can put that in low lock 4, and I'm going to beat you for the first 60 foot. I may float my lifters, but I'm going to beat you in low lock 4. There's going to be no tire squall. It's going to be hook and go. But now I'll race Aaron in reverse. I'll back up against Mr. Hawkins, and I'll leave it in reverse. Well, that would be funny, if I race him in reverse and he pulls ahead, and then I can do a Rockford and spin it around, and then grab second gear and catch him and beat him in a drag race. That'd be really cool.
Guys, there's a video I'm gonna send you to of Trav in his Camaro versus a 4-door Denali pickup.
Oh shit! Okay.
A 6.4 liter.
We're off the air.
A 6.4 liter.
6.2
pickup. 6.2, okay. 6.2, 6.4, yeah.
Bone
and
stuff.
I had a 3.6 V6 too. Yeah, and we were facing downhill, and I had a standard, and I couldn't really, so I was at 0 RPM at takeoff. That kind of sucked, but I think I could have been right there with him if we'd been on flat ground. But
you know what I wanted back in high school more than anything? I don't know.
A blowjob.
No, I was getting those anyway. I wanted a Typhoon. Do y'all remember the GMC, the Typhoon?
Yep.
I always wanted one, man. I don't know why. Because I could, you could have had a Camaro. When I was a kid, you didn't have to. My dad, I think, bought my Camaro for like $2,500, and it was in great shape. When I was going, in the 80s, you could buy these old cars for nothing, and they were in good shape. So, no Richard Rawlings fines where it's a rust bucket for $38,000. This, you could get a good solid old. But I always wanted a Typhoon, and everybody's like, you can get a faster car. Why? But there was just something about that truck that like hooked me. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but I mean, do you either one of you ever have any experience with a Typhoon?
I've never been around them, but I know of them. Yeah, and there's actually a niche that they're big into the Typhoons. And what was the other? Was it a Cyclone?
Yeah, the Cyclone.
Yeah, the Typhoon and the Cyclone. Yeah, there's a big niche. Actually, there's a company that they do nothing but work on those. I cannot remember what state it is. If you're on Motor Trend TV, oh crap, which one of them is it that is on it? Faster with Finnegan, and now it's Faster with Newbern and Cotton. Newbern knows, or Cotton knows, those guys, because actually I think he's good friends with one of them. They run a company. All they do is make production parts for those Cyclones.
Man, I would, if Satan could walk in right now and I'd sign that contract to get my hands on it made such an impact as a child, as a teenager. I would sell my soul for.
Don't do that, Paul. You can get one for like $5,000 to $6,000 off the interweb. So yeah. It's a small niche of people that really like them. So you can still find them. People don't realize what they have, and they're selling them for like a standard S10 price. But they see the Cyclone, so they throw an extra couple grand on them. So yeah. You got to sell your soul. Just your left nut or right nut, and you'll be good. You'll be all right. And even then, if you sell that, you'll be able to make the badass version out of it. So
which is fine, because neither one of them work very well. So I can part with them.
There you go. Hell, we're all at that age. I've had both of mine rebuilt, and they're still not what they were. So
the wife and I have to start the foreplay a week early, because
it's like an old weed eater, though. You just got to crank on it a while. Once you finally get it started, you can still mow with it all night, though, right?
Yeah, it's like I told my wife. I said, "You're getting ripped off." I said, mine used to be like, not a top tier drag racer, but I mean, the drag racing, I can get 15, 20 runs a night. Now it's like one and done. I'm sorry. That's all you're getting.
And I always bring it up to her. It's like, she always used to tell me, I would say something about, I probably, my sex is this, my sex is that. She goes, well, if you sucked, we wouldn't be together. I would have never stayed with you if you sucked in bed. I said, well, I suck in bed now. She goes, yeah, but you're 52 years old. She goes, I can overlook that. Plus, I didn't love you back then. I love you now. See, when I didn't love you, if the sex was shitty, I'd have been gone. But now that I love you, and it's been 30 years, I don't care that it sucks.
It's like it's like you're stuck now, okay?
And the Toby Keith song's playing in the background. I ain't as good as I once was.
That song used to be funny. The video used to be funny, and now at this point in life, it's getting to where this shit ain't so funny no more.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not as good once as I ever was. Now, I'll admit it. It's like, damn it. I understand now why so many men that start pushing 50 start doing cocaine. So, yeah, like, fuck, why not? It's like nitrous to an engine.
It's like
it's like all the should we rate Death Proof?
Oh shit, y'all haven't even rated it yet.
No, we do need to rate it.
We got so sidetracked.
We got off on a tangent. Yes.
Oh well, you got rednecks talking about a movie about nothing but muscle cars and death.
Car. I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah. So, Grandpa, I'll let you start.
For this movie, I'd probably say about 7 pills of my Alzheimer's meds, because it did have its moments where you're, twiddling your thumbs, but it's still a great movie. So I'd say 7 pills.
I agree. Well, I got to give it 2.5 PBRs, because this movie, it's got the dialogue, classic Tarantino. Got the dialogue to loop you in. It's got the girls. It's got all the callbacks if you're paying attention. And I know I've missed a bunch of them. I mean, that's just the ones I picked up on. And a couple of them I robbed off the interweb. I'm not going to lie. But, and you got the muscle cars, all that. And then, and I'm sorry, but when you got these old classic muscle cars and they start cringing, I kind of grip my beer can too tight, and I'll squeeze it, and then I don't have no beer left in it. So, 2.5.
There you go.
Code?
I got to give this one 3.5 PBRs. No, on second thought, 4, just because of how much beer I squeeze out of my can if I'm drinking canned beer while this is going on. And that being said, I really enjoyed the first act. The second act with the new group of girls, I like all the actresses in there. They're all great. It's just it's not up to par for me for Tarantino dialogue. I just kept with the second group of girls, when they're all sitting around in the restaurant talking and stuff, I just found myself looking at my phone, and I know it's like, wow, and I've seen this movie
really
many times, but when I watched it again last night, I was like, wow, this part is really dragging.
Oh, wait, I know what you were doing. You were looking at your phone, and you were looking at Pohub while you were watching this movie, wasn't you?
Yeah, you caught me.
It's a little addictive. I'll give you credit on that.
But yeah, and then the third act picks up, like you said, and it's a thrill ride for the whole third act. But yeah, the second act falls kind of flat for me. But that being said, it's still a great film. I mean, it's still classic Tarantino.
But
by far, I would like to call it. I don't want to call it was one of his weaker films, because I don't think Tarantino has a.
It's not weak at all.
But 4 PBRs, and I still enjoyed the shit out of it. Kurt Russell fucking makes this movie just like he does any fucking movie he's starring in.
And I do want to add one other personal opinion. I think it should be watched this way before you watch it. If you've never seen it before, try to find the Grindhouse version.
Yes,
watch it the way it was. way it was intended by the directors. And then you can go and watch the other versions by themselves. But I think it should always be watched for the first time in the grind, if you can find it, the Grindhouse way, because it just makes
agree
it feel
100%, Grandpa.
Yeah, it makes it feel like watching on its own. To me, feels like it brings it down just a little bit. But if you watch it together, the whole experience is it's just once in a lifetime kind of thing.
And if you can find some crazy redneck that's got like a 15 by 8 foot movie screen in his basement, that will make it even better to watch the Grindhouse experience. I mean, they'll have the redneck surround sound, homemade shit, and all that, and it adds to it. It really does.
I'll tell you, the first time I saw that movie, I went to the theater for the Grindhouse double feature, and we had a blast. And the first watch, I'm like, what is this? And then when it went to the movie channels, I watched it again, and I actually appreciated it a lot more. That's what it's funny, like some Tarantino movies with me, like the first time I watched it, I'm like, okay, it didn't really hook me, like the Hateful Eight and that one.
Yep.
Then after a couple of watches, and I'm like, okay, I get it now. Like it has to grow on you, I guess. But like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, first watch was just like, this is a amazing film. I got to watch this again. And then I just see stuff I didn't catch in the first place. So.
I would call The Hateful Eight his weakest film, but now I've only seen it once. I agree with you on that. I need to watch it another time.
I watched
it just like this one. I picked up the Big Trouble in Little China T-shirt behind him during the lap dance scene on this one. I'm like, holy shit, that's what he wore in Big Trouble in Little China. And I picked up on a lot, and that's how Tarantino films are. They're full of little cherries.
Some of them are like that.
You're going to see something different if you're paying attention. If you're not watching Pohub while you're watching the movie, you're going to see some shit going on.
One of the cowboys in the Hateful Eight is a ancestor or relative of the two brothers. The one who sat. The one from who sang cut his ears off and was torturing the cop. One of his relatives is one of the cowboys. So like we were saying earlier, all his stuff is linked.
It is.
So yeah. So and then there's the other brother was in the other one with I'm getting tired, so I'm forgetting things. The one movie.
You're good.
The one movie that had Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
No, not Pulp Fiction. Yeah, Pulp Fiction had the other brother, the one who was related to the guy who's cutting off his ears to the Steely Wheelers. They're related. They were brothers. So yeah, one of those cowboys is their distant relative, their ancestor.
There you go.
Yeah. And I and the cigarettes were in the Hateful Eight, but the Hateful
Red
Eight,
Apple cigarettes.
Yeah, the Hateful Eight though I thought was. I love westerns more than anything. That one and Django are probably two of my favorites of his because I like that western. Django was just badass in your face. Fuck you.
Yeah. I need to rewatch Django because I was crazy about it. I mean, I still liked it, but it didn't really feel like a Tarantino film to me.
Yeah,
man. I think that's the most jarring thing about it to me.
I watched Django and I had something else going on too, so it was kind of playing the background. So I really need to revisit it before I can really judge it.
He got so much shit for that film because
he did.
Y'all were saying nigger every 5 minutes, and that's just I don't think that's right. And it was like, but he
was how they fucking talked back then.
I know he wanted it authentic, and I think
exactly.
I'm not a big fan of Jamie Foxx. I really am. I'm really not.
I'm not. Me either.
But I wasn't until he came out.
Back on The Living Color.
Right, but in this, he was magnificent.
Yeah, I wasn't until he came out and said, I got the COVID shot. It fucked me all up. I respect him for doing that.
I respect him as a person. I'm still not a big fan of him as an actor, but I do respect him as a person.
No. The biggest thing I liked him in what was that vampire flick he done?
The Night Shift.
Yes, Night Shift. Yeah,
that one on
that
Netflix
was a fun fucking movie. I do got to give him. He nailed that one to a T. But it's good. It's really worth it. Oh, it's good. Yeah, I put it off, and my baby girl wanted to watch a vampire movie, and it was right there. I'm like, well, it's got Jamie Foxx in it. Give her the shit. It entertained her. And I'm like, holy shit, we both sat there and watched it. And I got to admit, it's probably one of his best works I've seen. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
Now, what would you think? I think, Quentin Tarantino. Okay, we've had a Rob Zombie Halloween remake. We've had a Blumhouse remake. Fuck it, let's give Tarantino a chance at making a Halloween remake. What do you say, Code?
I'm 110% on board for that. I mean, he's
yes.
not going to do any worse than Blumhouse.
Let's start. How do we start a petition nowadays? I mean, to get his attention on this. Let's
he was talking about maybe doing a Star Trek movie for a while.
I was hoping he would,
and I would have loved to see Tarantino. I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan, but I would love to see Tarantino's take on Star Trek.
You see the SS Enterprise go along the screen, and all of a sudden it turns to the ass, and you see a bumper sticker, "Pussy Wagon" on the back of the SS Enterprise.
I mean, for the Halloween thing, it would be cool to see Michael Myers running around smelling the women's feet before he killed them.
Fuck! Samuel L. Jackson as James C. Kirk.
Grandpa, you're dead on that. Just, instead of him stealing panties, he's stealing socks.
Yeah. and Samuel L. Jackson as Loomis. You white motherfuckers need to get out of it. That would be something.
Oh, damn.
I'm tired of these motherfucking Klingons on this motherfucking ship.
This is one evil motherfucker.
That would
and the
be
sheriff,
awesome.
The sheriff would probably be played by freaking what's his? I can't remember his fucking name.
Oh shit.
The old
damn
dude.
it, I've seen him too.
Not Parks, because he's not alive anymore. But his other old.
No, it'd be John Travolta. The sheriff could be played by John Travolta.
Yeah,
that'd be perfect.
Yeah. No, John Travolta. That's how.
Yeah.
I don't think this Michael guy. Oh man, he should do a Halloween.
He's handcuffing somebody, then Michael comes out of nowhere and he blows the back of the guy he's got handcuffed up with the 45 in the back of the squad car. Hey, you could have callbacks to Pulp Fiction everywhere in this damn film. That'd be awesome.
I don't think they should touch any of those movies anymore. Just leave them like they are. Just leave them alone.
I think they fucked with them enough. We've got to come to a peak.
Like you're not going to surprise me on who you're going to get as Freddy Krueger or Jason or anything like that. Just leave it alone. It was for its time. It was something. It was something great.
Number one, send phasers to fuck you.
I do have to agree with Poe on that. I think Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Write something new. Let's put the classics to bed, and let's move on to something.
Well, you don't have to worry about Friday the 13th. That old fucker dies, though.
Yeah, all the
lawsuits. Miller can't live much longer.
Well, I don't know. I keep seeing that advertisement for
Crystal Lake, the TV show Crystal Lake. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's
they can only make it as a fan film, though. They can't make any money off of it, so
I think it would be interesting to do. I've thought of this, okay, and I'm trying to think of his name. God damn it, he did. Oh my god, dude, he did that series Mindhunter. He does all those. He did the Zodiac film. What's his name? Oh my god, dude, the director that did it.
Michael Mann?
No, not Michael Mann. That's one name that came to mind, but I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, he did the Mindhunter series and he did the Zodiac film. What I think he should do, if they want to do something with Freddy Krueger, I think they should do the Springville slasher, make it like a true crime, fucking awesome thriller, movie on him before he became Freddy Krueger, and then it leads up to that, and it molds it molds the guy. It's kind of like how Marvel and DC did. They keep redoing this shit, but they don't do it right. Where you take the guy, and then you take him through the process, and then he becomes Freddy Krueger, and then you can kind of continue on with whatever movies. Like part one will be, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Springville slasher, or whatever you want to call it, or Springwood, or whatever it was called.
Elm Street.
Close enough.
Yeah, whatever. And then you have that Springwood. You have that where the cops are hunting him down, and he's a killer pedophile or whatever he was. And then it goes to the parents getting revenge on him in part two, and then it goes to the transition and where
bring
he
finally more realistic at first.
Exactly. I think that would give a shot in the arm to that franchise, but you have to keep the same people involved in it, like the same actor that plays Fred Krueger and all that. I think that would be, if you want to redo those movies, I think that would be a cool way to go with it.
Yep.
In my eyes, I'm just saying.
Because you're going to have to forget about the older generation that grew up with Freddy Krueger and look for the new generation. Exactly.
Well, I'm sorry, guys, but I think you're going to run the same problem that they've been running into with the Universal monsters trying to redo them for the last 70 years. But it's you can't redo it. You can't remake it and have the same impact. I mean, that you're trying to rehash something that is a product of its time, and that is, I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's very hard to do, and to do it and have with multiple films and have the impact that the original films, whether it be the Universal monsters or the 80s slashers or even the 70s satanic films, it's and I'm the biggest nostalgia victim of all time. I'm a sucker for 80s, 70s, 80s, even 60s. I'm 60, any nostalgic stuff.
It was David Fincher. David Fincher's take on that would be good. But go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. I think it could be done. I think it could be done good. I think we could all enjoy better movies. The key to the success of better movies is for the studio guys who know nothing but money to stay the fuck out of it and let these directors and producers who know how to move movies and write scripts, let them do what they want. And
but they're not going to.
And that's the problem. They need to quit. Just fucking. You will have hit after hit after hit if you leave these filmmakers the fuck alone.
That's why
they got to go. They got to work off their focus groups and try to incorporate as many different parts of society as they can to try to.
That's why
to try to appeal to as many people as possible, and in the process they lose everything that's special about it.
They lose film value. It's just it's a production. It's not a decent film. That's why if Stallone wasn't as good as he was and didn't have the money he did, we would have never had a Balboa. We would have never had more Rambo films and all that. He knew it would work, so he stuck and he put his own money in it. So he kind of X'd them out of there. But damn, how did we get? Damn, we're a horror podcast, and we have went from talking about car murders, then all of a sudden we're to Freddy Krueger. We've touched Jason. Now we're to Rambo, and all of this all in the same 20 minutes.
Well, Jesus Christ! Before it gets any later, let's get into some news.
All right.
Scooby-Doo live action Netflix.
I'll pass.
Yeah.
If it's anything like that, who did the fucking woke ass Velma show where Velma's a lesbian, an Asian lesbian or something? And
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about the one that was on Pornhub.
No, that one's with Brie Olsen. That one's pretty good, actually.
That wasn't bad.
The Indian chick from The Office. I can't fucking remember her name.
Mila something. Mike. I don't. Who gives a shit?
Mila's the 70s show lady.
Oh no, not Mila Kunis. It's I can't even remember her name. Anyway, she's just a terrible person. She's just terrible. Who cares?
So I'll skip the Scooby-Doo Netflix thing. Just you can watch it.
That's.
I'm gonna skip it too.
Why? They already did the movies and they were perfect like they were. You know?
Yeah.
They did the movies. They were funny and silly, but whatever. Go ahead.
I am kind of disappointed though, because James Gunn, I think he wrote both of those, and he was going to get if the second one would have done better, he was going to get to direct Scooby-Doo 3, and then it got axed. But I would like to. I would like to see James that era of James Gunn, not current James Gunn. Because I think he's way too full of himself now. And
sounds like James Gunn's had a few misfires, Cody. So
yeah. You mean what, Trav? You mean the great savior of DC movies has had a few misfires? What?
Okay. Several. Did you see the new picture of Superman?
No.
Oh, you haven't? Let me find it.
Oh Lord! I don't even like pictures. The S looks stupid.
Is this a trans Superman?
Yes. No. Let's see.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point.
Okay, so everybody, this hit today actually.
It's not Wonder Woman, it's not Superman, it's Wonder Sam.
Wonder they super.
He's got a skirt. He's got a skirt and a tent at the same time.
It's Super Z is what it is.
Super them.
So anyway,
super they them.
There's the first look of. So there he is. He looks all like I don't know what's on his sleeve.
He looks deflated, like he doesn't want to go to work.
Yeah, he's wearing the underwear. If you can see my little arrow here.
Looks like Batman's costume underneath Superman's costume.
Yeah.
Or over Superman's costume. Yeah. What the hell?
It's the first look.
Since when did Superman have shoulder pads? Has he been watching Miami Vice from back in the 80s?
The Golden Girls didn't have that much shoulder pads.
Then
for
the first flight scene, you'll hear Phil Collins in the heat of the night start firing up. Superman flying through the lightning bolt.
I'm sold.
Oh man.
I don't know. I'll watch it. I mean, I'll watch the new Superman. Why not? I mean, it doesn't matter really to me. I mean, Henry Cavill, yeah, that's cool, but he's got so much other stuff that he's doing. It doesn't even matter anymore.
I'm sure it'll be better than Superman Returns.
Superman Returns was god awful. I mean, it was terrible.
That's a bad part. That could have been, and it was a sequel to the original. The original 4. It could have been something great, and they totally shit the bed on it. And I mean, they had fucking Kevin fucking Spacey. The only better person they could have got to play Lex Luthor in that Superman film would have been Henry fucking Rollins.
You had to say him. Dude, he should have been on it.
True.
Yes, definitely.
Now, how funny would that be if he got like Kryptonian gloves, grabs Superman by the throat, pins him to the ground, and starts screaming, "You're a liar!" That would
be red kryptonite.
Well, green until he gets mad, and then it turns red.
Well, I'm a nerd. The red kryptonite makes Superman evil. If you remember your Superman.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
That's even better. Then when Henry fucking Rollins gets pissed off, Superman gets evil.
Sorry, you said it.
Yep. See, it's even a bigger fight when Henry gets mad. So yeah, I left off the last part. So yeah. Damn.
You know the rules here.
We've got $1 million fucking comic book right here in our laps, guys. We just don't have the rights.
We've come up with different movie ideas on different shows, and it's like, holy crap. Like the new did y'all see when we talked about the new Motley Crue video on the Father Mahoney?
Oh yeah.
I'd rather watch the Scooby-Doo on Netflix.
Oh, wait. Hold on. We can incorporate Casino into the new Superman movie. Kryptonite cock.
Yeah, that was a god awful video.
Oh my gosh, I hated that.
I'm like, what is
this? That would have been cool 30 years ago. Now, no.
Well, gentlemen, it's true what they say, die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
And I'm sorry. Okay, no offense to John 5. John 5 is a damn good guitarist, but he cannot fill Mick Mars' shoes. And I'm sorry, Mick Mars is the only guy in that group that has talent left. Nikki Sixx even had to start taking, Nikki Sixx, this is his band. He created it. Mick Mars kind of picked it up and took it to the next level. But Nikki Sixx created it, but Nikki had to start taking bass lessons before they went back on the road.
Well, he didn't know how to play bass. He even says that. He said he just faked it. He didn't give a shit.
And I'm
he
like,
just name and all that stuff, and
yeah. So, and it's like, holy shit!
The Milli Vanilli of Motley Crue,
which is grateful.
This last concert. Go ahead, Grandpa.
Well, it's good that they had a good drummer because the lack of bass playing by Tommy Lee was covered up by the great drumming that Tommy Lee did.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, the last concert. Watch when Mick, he goes, "Wah!" is screaming. If you watch him when he's looking around this way, and the screaming's still going on when the mic's
Vince,
5 foot.
I saw him live last summer. I saw him when they did their stadium tour at Busch Stadium.
Oh yeah,
and man, they turned
that's when they still had Mick with them.
The hell down. Yeah, that was one of the last shows he did with him. And oh my God, it was painful to watch. Even if that wasn't even Vince's vocals, they had the mic turned way down. I guess it was to hide that it wasn't his vocals, and it was pre-recorded.
That was
just. I mean, guys, we're all getting older. We know, like Trav was saying earlier. I'm not as good as I once was. I'm
still not as good once as I ever was, and I'll admit it.
And these guys, they're in their 60s now. Not everybody can be fucking Mick Jagger or Alice Cooper and still be up there doing this shit. Convincing.
Props.
Assuming, I fully believe Alice Cooper is. I don't know about Mick Jagger. He's 80 now, but
that's
if
what
I hear. They still put on a hell of a show.
That's what I hear. Yeah, whether it's the actual audio or not, if you can't tell the difference.
Well, what I hear is though, Keith Richardson, I think he feeds them his blood before they go on stage, and it keeps them going. Is what I understand. So,
like I was telling Murray, I said, don't forget all these old bands that don't want to quit. You got to look at who they are. All the bands from the 70s and 80s that we loved, they're all boomers.
Yeah.
So they just don't want to give up. They want to stick around. It's like, if they were Gen X, they'd be like, fuck it. Let's retire and go to the ranch. They wouldn't care, but they're boomers. They can't let go. Look at Ric Flair. And he's not even a boomer. He's from the silent generation, and this motherfucker won't stop. It's like he's 80 years old and he won't stop. It's like these old people don't know how to just stop.
Yeah,
he's my hero, though. I mean, really, Rick, he's got like a fucking liver made of gold. I mean, seriously, as much alcohol as this man's consumed, he should be dead.
Yeah, he's still.
I hope my liver has half the vitality his does, because then I should be able to podcast well into my mid-50s. So we should be
if we could just survive half the ex-wives he has.
I like how he
Oh my
just
gosh.
like until I'm like 50 something. It's like that's not that far, dude.
I know. That's why I said if I can just do like part of what Rick does with his liver.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not far off at all. Mid-50s, but yeah.
Man. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try and do this until I can't remember what I'm doing.
There you go.
That'll work.
Well,
hey, I gotta say,
drink till we can't remember what we're doing.
Grandpa, you're auto remembering better than Cody, so you're doing pretty damn good, brother.
He thought you had a purple car, and I've only seen it.
That's a compliment, not a big compliment, but that's a compliment.
I about to say I need you to get to like sliding Cody a little medication. It may help the show out a little bit. I mean,
so what else you got, Cody?
Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. It's streaming tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
Already?
Yeah. So
okay, was that worth the shit? Yeah. I haven't watched it yet.
Didn't watch it yet. I wanted to take the kids. Because we took that was the first movie we took all 5 kids to see at the theater. Was Ghostbusters Afterlife, and they all absolutely loved it. We had a great time with them, and
Afterlife. That's not the one with the all women cast, is it?
No, that's
no. The one from
was that one.
Yeah, 4 years ago, I think. Yeah.
So it's going to streaming. It's just to purchase, or is it going to be on a streaming service? Is it just going to Voodoo?
For purchase.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Afterlife, that's the one with Bill Murray and all of them.
Yeah, at the end where they come in at the end.
Yeah.
And they come back.
That was a good one. They're in this one more. The three living Ghostbusters, and they bring back Janine too again for this one. Annie Potts, who I absolutely adore. She's still hot at 70. I'll say it.
Absolutely.
But and it looks like they're gonna hopefully hang it up with this Ghostbusters, and 4 films.
That's not bad.
The stupid Paul Feig.
I'm gonna say something very, very unpopular, but I'm gonna say it. I've never said it. I haven't said it. I don't think I've said it on the show. I've said it to people. I think Ghostbusters is a good movie. All of them have been good, but I think they are very overrated. I don't think they're as good as people want them to be. They're great movies, don't get me wrong, but I've seen better comedies in the 80s than Ghostbusters.
I think a big part of it, Paul, and I slightly agree with you on that. I think a big part of it is the nostalgia, and I can't take my nostalgia glasses off when it comes to Ghostbusters. It's just one of the first, it's one of the first movies I saw.
I grew up with
as a kid. Yeah,
I had all. Actually, I've got some of the original Ghostbuster toys sitting on my man cave shelf over there that I grew up with. Yeah,
because the wife was talking to me about Ghostbusters, and I said, when it comes to comedies from the back in the day, I'd rather watch Hot Shots or Airplane or that one with Samuel L. Jackson, the one where the Wilderness Cookies. I can't remember the name of the movie off the top of my head, but
Loaded Weapon.
Yeah, see there.
Yeah, Loaded Weapon. I'd rather watch those.
Loaded Weapon 1. Samuel L. fucking Jackson.
I've even got the VHS of Ghostbusters sitting there. I forgot I had that.
You can have
VHS. Then we've got a Ghostbuster porn scene going here.
Shit.
Yeah, I wonder.
I've got the original Ghostbuster toys there.
Wait a minute,
I found some of mine here the other day.
Oh, you did?
I did. I found the one with the purple ghost as the eyeball that shoots out. I found my Slimer, and I found my Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Dude, Slimer's the holy grail because most of those got destroyed. There's not a whole lot of them left, so that's actually
who destroyed him, Trav? Who was it? Let's go find these bastards.
They all played with them. That Slimer was the most played with toy, but
it had the the tail that stuck out. They got dark.
See my original Koopa? I have a Koopa. I'm like a, I used to hide that when I was a kid, so I didn't want to be.
Show me your Koopa.
Show me your Koopa.
Oh,
show me that Koopa. Oh shit.
Oh,
Cabbage Patch Koopa. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still got his tag.
Dude, that fuckers, those are rare now.
I've had this thing forever. I used to hide it when my friends would come over because you know how it was back in the old days. What do you got something
can't
like
have
that
a Cabbage
for?
Patch.
Are you a fag? Like, just leave me alone. But you know,
leave me my Koopa alone.
When my grandmother died, my aunt gave it to me because it stayed at
Let my Koopa free.
So yeah, I cherish my little Koopa. You can call me names.
Cody, I got a little news. I finally watched that fucking Flash movie.
Oh God, I'm
the
sorry.
New Flash.
I'm sorry you watched that.
Oh my God, that's fucking retarded. But
the only redeeming factor
is the original Batman.
Yeah,
Michael Keaton does a fucking bang-up job in that.
If it wasn't for Michael Keaton, that would be washed under the fucking river with your fucking foot on its head until it drowned 5 fucking times to make sure it didn't come back. Yes. I do not remember in the comic books where Flash could walk up to a concrete wall and vibrate and walk through it.
I don't remember that, but it could have been something. I mean, that kind of makes sense. You know, you move so fast, but that's the only reason I watched it was because, you know, Michael Keaton was Batman again, and that was cool.
Exactly.
I mean, that was the only part of the movie.
And then
cool.
That was the only draw to the film,
Time travel Flash, and then we've got 2 Flashes, and then we got the third Flash that is the Flash that first done it, and now he's coming back, and he's got Spike, and I'm like, oh my God. I said, well, Batman, will you just fucking kill them all? Just take them, and you take the movie over. Yeah,
and
exactly.
And that's another thing that pisses me off. We got Michael Keaton as Batman in that movie, and then they shelf Batgirl, which he was fucking in that too. So I'm pissed we're never going to be able to see that. Warner Brothers can suck my cock.
They dropped the ball on it, and then
fucking James Gunn's got such a fucking big head on his shoulders now. He's, you know, even Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm sorry for anybody who liked it, but I thought that was a shit pile of a film.
I didn't even fucking watch it.
And I love the first 2
of them. Yeah, the all 3 of them were great. Not all 3 of them, but the first 2 I liked. The first Guardians was awesome. Second one was cool. Third one was just why are we doing this again? It just they need to.
He's so fucking full of himself. You can tell it. It's like he's not even trying anymore.
Hollywood sucks.
Yep. I agree. What else you got?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Will you wrap this up, you redneck motherfucker? Come on, let's get this show on the road.
Mike Flanagan is in talks to direct the new Exorcist sequel. Since the original team behind Exorcist Believer is all fucking jump ship after everybody fucking hated that piece of shit movie.
Okay.
But Flanagan, you know, he kind of saved, sort of saved the Annabelle series when he did the sequel to Annabelle. I mean, that was an okay film. It was way better than the original. We got to say that. It was better than the original. And then when he did the Shining sequel, Dr. Sleep was a solid film, I thought. Not great. Mike Flanagan, that's the thing. He makes good films. He doesn't make great films. But he does make good, watchable films.
Well,
I would go that far.
You know what would make the Exorcist film sequel better? If they don't do it.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. That's another one
they show
any whatsoever.
If they showed her sucking cocks in hell,
making a sequel to The Exorcist,
that might do it right there. Oh wait, no, that's on a different channel. My bad.
Yeah, that's
that's on Pohub.
Yeah.
Which I did like. I did like The Exorcist 3. That's a good, solid film. That is a worthy sequel to The Exorcist. But The Exorcist, that being said, is kind of it's making a sequel to The
Exorcist 3
is like making The Heretic with
it shouldn't have been
with
called
Brad Dourif and
what year?
And they brought back Father Karras,
George C. Scott.
George C. Scott, yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah, that's way back in the day. Yeah. Okay.
No, they did it in the 90s. They did that one in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's way back in the fucking day, dude. I mean, we're
90s
pushing
was like
50.
Early 90s, though. Early 90s.
Yeah.
Last week.
Early 90s.
Yeah. But like I was saying, The Exorcist is like Jaws. It never needed a sequel. And now that Blumhouse is wanting to milk this cow, this dead cow, I'm not impressed. So I don't want to give them any more time for that. But what I do want to give more time is MGM has announced a release date, June 5th, 2026, for the live-action reboot of Masters of the Universe. That's right, where He-Man returns.
Live action?
Yes.
So, like Dolph Lundgren's movie?
It's going to be a play?
No, it's going to be not a cartoon, a live action, a live film.
I'm a movie.
I'm a huge He-Man fan.
Oh, I am too.
I have, I had the figures when I was little. I like He-Man. I do.
I got them sitting on the shelf right over by the Ghostbusters.
I know you have Dino Riders or something. That Dino Rider figure, the Triceratops, and the Dino Riders or some shit.
Oh no, that's Transformers over there too. No, I got Transformers.
What the fuck was that called? Anyway,
I got tons of shit. All my old action figures.
You got any Silverhawks up there?
Total. No, I don't.
Silverhawks.
I got Airwolf.
I had Silverhawks. I had Silverhawks back in the day, but I had Weeble people too. But Trav stuck those all up his ass.
Total. If they don't do this, I'll be upset because I bought that movie about the Von Erichs and fucking
the Iron Claw,
dude looked just like fucking Adam from He-Man with that bowl cut and he beefed up for the role. He should be whatever his name is. Zac Efron should play He-Man. I really believe he should.
I never thought of that.
Shit, I never would have thought of it. You're dye his hair blonde.
Mind blown.
You're right.
He'll look
Grandpa, you're on point with that. Just don't let him fucking speak.
Yeah. I don't want him to have the He-Man bowl cut. I want him to kind of make him look a little different, maybe, and kind of, because that's the cartoon version. And a bowl cut kind of looks kind of lame, but.
Bring back Dolph, too. Have him in it as, I don't care if it's a cameo. We need Dolph.
Well, I haven't watched the original He-Man in forever. Wasn't Adam didn't he look different? Wasn't he smaller and thinner?
Yeah, he was a little skinny feller.
So shouldn't the new He-Man be played by two different people to give it actual change?
Dolph was muscled up Dolph. I mean, he was Drago from Rocky IV.
Not really muscled up, but just
with longer hair.
They should do have one person play Adam and have a bigger guy play the transformated He-Man. That's what I think.
The official synopsis so far is that Prince Adam is sent away from his planet in a spaceship and crash lands on Earth and is separated from his power sword, which gives him all his power when he's a baby. And then it takes him like 30 years on Earth, growing up on Earth. He finds his power sword and is magically transported back to his home world of Eternia to battle the evil Skeletor.
And in between that time, he had time to do 3 High School Musicals. Fuck, I see where this is going.
It sounds like Superman. It sounds like Superman.
Superman. It does.
Yeah, it does.
Just have it on the planet. And why does Earth have to be in everything? The original doesn't even take place.
Yeah, on Earth. Earth's for losers.
No shit.
Yes,
it should take place in Eternia.
Earth is for idiots and losers. It needs to take place there. I mean, I'm so old. I remember the original toy, Castle Grayskull, at the very, very beginning wasn't even He-Man's. When it was on the TV show and it was just a toy, Skeletor was all over the box. It was his castle, and then they changed it later for the show. So let's just keep it where it fucking Earth. Everything's on Earth.
And fuck it, let's make Skeletor the hero. I mean, is he not the most popular character from?
Let's make it modern. Series? It's not even Skeletor. It's Skelehor.
Jesus.
Skeleve.
He could do memes the whole movie.
Skelehor. Oh, yeah. There's already 2,000 memes out there of him. Yeah. Perfect.
The Strangers, Chapter 1, releases May 17th.
It's just a
anybody interested in a Strangers prequel? Not me. So let's move on.
The rest of them was just like, nah.
Well, we have Flesh of the Gods is going to premiere at the Cannes Film Festival. The new film starring Kristen Stewart from Twilight and Oscar Isaac from the.
Wait, is she going to sparkle in it?
I hope
if she don't sparkle, I don't want to fucking see it.
It's a vampire flick
she does
in
sparkle.
the 80s.
If she does sparkle, I don't want to see it.
Director Panos Cosmatos, the director of Mandy with Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
That wasn't bad.
And hey, hold on. It's written, before you completely write it off, it's written by Andrew Walker, the writer of Seven, with Brad Pitt and
Morgan Freeman.
So,
well, he took a hell of a break, didn't he?
He's been working, not doing a bunch of stuff, though. I was looking up his filmography. I can't remember what the fuck it is now, but he hasn't. Apparently made enough money off that.
I mean, after Seven, how the hell are you gonna? How you
gonna top that? That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How are you gonna top
everything?
Gwyneth Paltrow's head in the box.
Oh no, that's a different guy. Never mind. Yeah, Morgan Freeman hadn't been in much. He was in Lucky Number 11. Another 7.
Morgan Freeman? Oh, Morgan Freeman's been in a shit ton of stuff.
The Pope's Exorcist 2 has been greenlit from Screen Gems.
That I want to see.
Yeah, I haven't seen. Well, I'm not going to shit on it. I like Russell Crowe. I like Russell Crowe.
I've seen the first one. Wait, I have seen the Pope's Exorcist. Yeah.
With
that
Russell Crowe?
That wasn't bad. So they got a second one coming out. Okay.
I really like the Pope's Exorcist. It was
actually
it was
one of them.
Hit sort of. It didn't make a shit ton of money, but it's made enough to warrant a sequel. And Russell Crowe's back on board, and I like Russell Crowe. So let's see what he can do.
I was doing something around the house. I don't remember what it was, and I just turned it on like to watch something kind of in the background, and I wound up not doing what I was going to get done, and I watched the movie. So yeah, it was pretty decent.
And
I need to check it out.
And it's not just any ordinary Russell Crowe; it's Fat Russell Crowe, and Fat Russell Crowe.
I like Fat Russell Crowe.
Yes, he kicks ass. Yes,
he's a lot more aggressive than he was in Gladiator. To tell you the truth, if he would have been Fat Russell Crowe in Gladiator, the movie would have been half of what it would have been because he would have killed everybody in the first scene.
Yeah, well,
he's a lot more violent.
What really sold me on Fat Russell Crowe was the movie The Nice Guys with him and Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
And he's a fucking badass at that. I was like, where has Fat Russell Crowe been all my life?
And what is the one where he's like the road rage guy against the woman? He was Fat Russell Crowe.
That was a good one too.
What was it? Disturbed, Unhinged.
Yes,
Unhinged.
that was the first film to be released at theaters post COVID.
And if you go farther back, the first time I recall seeing Fat Russell Crowe was he was in a movie with Al Pacino where he was the guy who whistle blew on the cigarette companies. It was a biographical movie. It was a drama. He did such a good job in it because he was trying to come out and say nicotine's addictive, and they wanted to freaking shut him up. It was a great fucking movie. That was the first time I saw Fat Russell Crowe. Forgot what it was called.
Oh, we need a Fat Russell Crowe drop.
Okay. I'll work on it.
Fiction. That's Phiction. Fiction. Don Coscarelli's Fiction.
I got it on the way.
A collection of short stories from Don Coscarelli existing in the Phantasm universe is now available on paperback, featuring 6 new stories.
Yep. 18 cheap dollars to get it from Amazon. Cool. I've done got it on the way. I should have it by Wednesday.
So if you want some official Phantasm continuation shit, this is all we got, folks. And probably all we're going to get. Although Reggie Bannister is apparently doing better, and then is starting to do conventions again. That's great. You know, he's suffering from dementia.
They're close conventions, of course, from where they live. You know, they're not flying or nothing like that. But yeah, they're pretty close conventions.
But that's great. I'm glad to hear he's back. Out there. And,
cool.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a new release date for Terrifier 3. It looks like they moved it back 2 weeks to October 11th. So we will have Terrifier 3 for Halloween, although it's a Christmas movie from what I understand.
So close enough.
You know, why not?
October, November,
Damien
December.
Leone, Trav, did you get around to watching Terrifier 2 yet?
No.
Do it.
Just please.
I don't want to do a show on Instagram.
Yeah, no diarrhea scene, please. No, I don't want to see no more diarrhea.
Shit, that was gonna be a spoiler on our show.
And we also have Netflix. Netflix has been on the ball on horror here lately. We got they announced the live action Scooby-Doo series. And also, which they've been talking about for a while, but we now have an official title to the Fear Street sequel they're doing, which I really enjoyed the 3 Fear Street films they released. We have Fear Street 1988 : Prom Queen. So it's you've already got me at 1988 and Prom Queen. I mean. Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's see how bad you can fuck this up with your woke bullshit, Netflix.
Yeah, man, I got halfway through the second Fear Street, and then I lost it.
I'll have to watch those. I didn't get to watch
the third one brings it back around. I didn't like the second one that much, but the third one that takes place back in the Salem witch trials, and then it jumps back and forth between then and present time.
Maybe I did make it the third one.
The third one's good. The third one I like. The first one, the second one is when they're the camp one. I enjoyed it. I liked all of them. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see what they can do with it.
Maybe I finished them. I don't remember because
they had a lot of
remember the Salem witch trials, but as they all have to do now fucking days.
The lead character has to be a gay lesbian chick. Yeah, has to be. But right up there with Disney, so fuck you, Disney. Did I say fuck you, Disney?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Okay. Can we all say it together?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Fuck you, Disney. Nobody else said it. Damn it.
I did.
Paul, thank you, Paul. Thank you.
I real quick, I have to fly the coop. I'm having a hard time paying attention.
Okay.
So I'm talking. I understand completely.
No, it's not you. It's the brain. I'm
like, no, Paul. It's him. I'm having a hard time paying attention too. So you're good.
So y'all guys need. You guys.
Anyway, that was all I had.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was gonna say you guys.
Okay.
So, Paulie, please close us out on this show. On this monumental, wonderful, beautiful train wreck of a show. Lead us out there, Grandpa.
You can kill people inside of a car, and you wouldn't be able to do that in an electric car. So don't buy an electric car.
Perfect.
All right.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Till next time.